institutions just to make sure they get the best for them. So if these things continue, I believe that the population of the government-owned tertiary institution will begin to drop while people resort to private-owned tertiary institutions, just like our government-owned nursery and primary schools now. You go to most of these government-owned nursery and primary schools, you see just maybe 2 or 3 persons in a class. I am very sure of that. I've seen schools like that. So then we know there's hardship, but still parents are trying very hard to say, okay, I can take my child to a private-owned primary school, at least to start with that. So it will start dropping. When I was growing up, our primary schools, government-owned primary schools, we had larger numbers than the private schools because it wasn't this bad then. So now the system has gotten so bad, nobody even wants to think of it.
Okay, seeing that the situation has completely dilapidated to this situation, you hear a child being advised to go to school and the child is like, why am I going to school? At the end of the day, I spent 10 years for a course of 4 years, and the money I'm supposed to make, you know, the end result that they think is to go to school is to make money. What's your advice to that child who thinks that it's a shattered hope to go to school and undergo the continuous strike? What's your advice to that child?
I believe it won't remain like this forever. Yes, I believe tomorrow holds better for us. And I believe so much in our state leadership now. For instance, ENUGU State, the governor is working on the smart green schools, which will bring back the basic education of our dream. So if other states can take this as well, start working on it from the schools, I think the education dream will be brought back to life. And like they say, education is not scam. Whatever you do, one day you're going to see that, yes, I'm happy I went to school at the end of the day. Because you apply these things in whatever you're doing. Even if, let's say, I don't know how to put it, but at the end of the day, if you say you're going into business, you still need that knowledge to run your business. A business that is run by someone who is not educated is not going to be the same as one who is educated, who has gone to school and gotten the certificate and knows what they are doing. Mm-hmm. So I believe our people are not taking it that far. Like me, I am happy I went to school, and I would advise every growing child to try as much as possible to acquire the higher education.
During the last ENUGU governance protest, I understand that you chaired a group. You're the chairman of NANS here in ENUGU, but you guys pulled out of that protest.
Yeah.
Why did you pull out? Many people also said that part of the reasons why the thing wasn't even successful in ENUGU was because of that move that you guys made.
Which is true.
But I wanted to find out, why did you pull out of the ENUGU governance protest? Are you guys having fun?
With the governance?
Is food cheap? Are you guys not suffering hunger? So why did you guys pull out?
Okay, we're not the only ones that pulled out. But I believe NANS consulted widely. Yes. Before then, we had a town hall meeting where we had over 600 student leaders from across all the tertiary institutions in ENUGU State, both government-owned and private-owned tertiary institutions. So we consulted widely. We spoke to our student leaders. We checked here and there. That's the truth. We also discussed the End SARS
2020
yes,
and
yes, and
campaign.
how it turned out. I always tell people, when you're coming out for protest, it's only you that knows what is in your mind. You can't dictate what is in the next person's mind. You might have your group who are coming out for this protest with good intention. What is the intention? March peacefully to so and so area, demonstrate and say end governance. What about those people who are coming to steal, and to harm people. If it's a peaceful protest, why do people at the end of the day start stealing people's phones? The same person you're protesting peacefully with, but you're stealing their phones, they are harming people, people are being shot, properties destroyed. So at the end of the day, our students most times suffer these things because we are the most vulnerable. We are the most energetic. When we out, you know we are out. So when we come out like this, these people with bad intention, when they start with their bad motives, you will see that the students are being harmed the more.
So the case of not coming out is the case of getting scared that another
No,
person,
no.
the protest will be hijacked. It's not like...
First of all, we're not scared, and we also consider the protest being hijacked. Secondly, some schools were writing exams. ESUT was writing exams, they just concluded, Peaceland, and so many other schools. They were writing exams that period. Thirdly, I know we can do dialogue.
Okay.
Yes.
So far, has that dialogue happened? Because
Yes.
people are saying it's as if you people went and collected monies and then stayed back, or people gathered together,
So
collected
has
something.
dialogue with federal government.
Has that happened? Is this true that you guys collected money in order for you not to come out to protest?
I see these things and I just laugh. Collect money not to come out. I always tell people, when students we don't need publicity to protest. You see, NANS is known for what it is. Students don't need help from any other group or any other organization to come out and demonstrate. If we feel affected by anything and we feel like, okay, we can't take this anymore, you will see us out, and the number is massive. So this is not a case of collecting money. This is a case of we trying to protect the lives and properties of our students. Also, not wanting something that would, like we were talking about the curriculum, if those schools had not written those exams this period, we don't know when next. That means they'll have to wait till after the protest before they can start making arrangements when they are supposed to be doing other things. And again, we've been discussing with the government.
Okay.
We've been able to tender our concerns, and they are looking into it seriously. For instance, the palliative, if you watch the town hall meeting that was hosted by the state government some months earlier this year, I'm not a leader that keeps quiet. I'm not a leader that is easily intimidated. You can't
Absolutely.
intimidate me. So when I stood up to talk, if you notice at some point I was being told I'm taking someone else's time, but I will not stop until I finish what I want to say, because we don't know when we'll get that opportunity again. So I finished it, and His Excellency also proved to us that he's a governor that listens, because immediately after that town hall, after some time, schools started receiving this palliative that they shared to students, which some of them, the sharing is still ongoing. Okay, yeah, depending on the activities, because some schools were on break when they brought it, so they had to keep and wait for the semester to start. So.
All right. So this 21 days.
Sorry, let me just ask something in line. What's the palliative? Is it like rice?
Yes.
Is it grains or money?
Is rice.
Okay.
So these 21 days ultimatum that's been given to the government, how are you guys reacting to it? Like, what are you guys going to do about this 21 days that have been given to the government about this notification for strike?
Okay. I believe that the national is not sleeping as well. So
you guys haven't met about it? You guys haven't talked about it?
No, we have a meeting tomorrow afternoon concerning it. So, but before the meeting, I also think the national body has a meeting today, which after their own national meeting, then there will be an elaborate meeting to discuss and see where do we come in, how do we lend our voices, what is going to happen, what will be the fate of our students if this is allowed to go on, and that's...
Okay. I understand that you are outgoing now because there's a new person elect.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell us how that happened in terms of the voting process, how he emerged, and people who are excited and some who are not excited that the guy has emerged?
Okay, in state election, in fact, in NANS election, the senators, that's the voters, are SUG presidents. So in Enugu, we have around 14 voting SUG presidents who would come for the NANS state convention. They already before then must have met their candidates. You campaign, you go to schools, you tell them why you want to be the NANS chairman, why you want to represent them, and it was very peaceful. The election process was very peaceful, very transparent, and the young man emerged.
So are the nuns, the candidates, are they also SUG presidents, or just any student can contest?
Any student
can contest?
who is above second year in any government-owned tertiary institution can contest.
Okay,
Once it's not if it's your first degree,
yeah,
or if it's your second degree, or maybe your master's, then once it's verified that you're a student of any school, any government-owned tertiary institution,
okay,
you can contest.
It has to be a government-owned tertiary
Yes.
institution. Okay, so private student union governments are not involved in the voting
In Enugu, we
process.
carry everybody along, both private and government-owned. When I spoke about my town hall, I just told you that both private schools, Peaceland, Usisotec, Coal City,
But are they
Godfrey
eligible
Okoye,
to be candidates?
no, they are not, because NANS handles government-owned tertiary institutions. We can't tell someone what to do with their private business.
Okay.
Yes, private-owned tertiary institutions is someone's private business.
So how do they contribute to the voting process?
Nomination.
I mean the private schools, how do they contribute to the voting of who is a NANS chairman or NANS secretary? Or
You can campaign for someone you feel is best fit for the job.
Okay, you can
But
campaign for
Yes,
the private.
yeah, we have
But you can't
COSPEN.
vote.
Yes, we have COSPEN, Council of SUG Presidents. So both private SUG presidents are members of this COSPEN. You know you're not voting, but you can tell your friend who has the voting power, I think this person is good enough to be the NANS chairman.
Okay.
Why
do they
don't
have
we?
voters card as well?
They don't have, but an SUG president is not one that hides.
Okay.
So, in as much as the Constitution says, in the absence of the SUG president, any member of the executive of any student union government can vote. But we all know the SUG president of Godfrey Okoye, we all know the SUG president of IMTA, SUIT, and the rest of them. So, it's not, you don't need voter's card. We know you, we know your office.
Priska, Comrade Priska, okay. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate. At least we were able to grab you, now that you're still the chairman,
Yeah.
to the studio. Maybe the next time we're going to be inviting somebody from NANS, it's going to be somebody else. But thank God that we were able to get
Yes,
you. But how has
definitely.
been your administration? You know, good. In just 30 seconds, because we don't have time anymore.
Okay, leading the student community is not easy. It has never been easy, and it never will be easy, because it has a lot. It's draining. Some of these schools are in rural areas. They're in Oji River, Iwolo. Some of the schools are in Ihamofo, MNA. So we try as much as possible to see how we can reach out to all of them. If there's an emergency, we rush to these schools and see what is going on there. Just like what happened in College of Health Oji River, that the Fulani herdsmen attacked the school and made away with some students. God be blessed, the student has been released.
They've been released?
Yes, they have.
Wow.
I confirmed it.
You confirmed it?
Yes,
Wow.
I had to visit the families of the kidnapped students.
Wow.
Yes, I did. I did with the newly elected NANS chairman and my director of internal security.
Wow.
So we visited their families, we confirmed they've been released, and we thank the security agencies for the good work they did. And we thank the student community also for being calm, because it was going to be a chaos.
Wow.
Because the classmates of these girls, they wanted to agitate, but we bless God that at the end of the day, it happened. So it's not easy at all. It's not like this leadership that maybe the president will say, I will address the country by 7 in the evening when there's a problem. No, in student leadership, you address issues as they come.
Immediately.
So may not even have time for yourself. If you have other programs, once it's student related, you have to do away with them and face this one. It's a huge task.
Wow. Thank you so much, Comrade Priska, for your time and your insights on today's program. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Let me also use this opportunity to say congratulations to my children. Let me put it that way. Congratulations to the newly elected NAS chairman, Ali Kajetan Chinenye, and his ESCOs. I wish them the very best. It's not going to be easy, like I said, but I know his for the SUG presidents to have entrusted him to do the job, I know he will deliver, and I pray his reign will be successful.
All right. We're hoping to actually host him here maybe sometime
very
later.
soon.
No,
Please,
right,
very soon.
all right. Thank you so much for being part of the program. We're switching gears right now for some financial report. Just 2 minutes.
I'm not bothered about the existence of law. I'm only bothered about the willing power of the power that be to fight and eradicate corruption, which is a constitutional duty. But are we doing so? My answer is yes, because the anti-corruption agencies appears to be hamstrung by so many factors, including political factors, interference from those who ought not to interfere with the job of the anti-corruption agencies. Anti-corruption agencies have the power to call for any documents, and I think that they are doing that job and doing it well, but the end product of the efforts they put and the way some power that be interfere with the system and make the independent institution not independent, I think is the bane of the fight against corruption. And I have always said Nigeria is only a funny country where government advertises its achievements on the pages of newspaper and by the medium of television, but when you go to the site, you will not see it. It will surprise you to know that this level of sophisticated corruption is being elevated so much so now that you can see corrupt judgments being delivered in favor of corrupt public and private officials. How do they do it? With the connivance of people in power, some people in power, who have vested interest in taking away money from the treasuries of this country. They organize litigation, don't defend that litigation, court that is presiding may not know, and judgment is delivered against the institutions, and in the twinkle of an eye, money is being taken out of the treasury of out of Nigerian treasuries for purposes of being sharing because there is a vested interest. That is why in most cases now, or in some cases, not in most cases, you see that some judgments are purely RNG judgments that enabled the power, some power that be, to take money out of our treasuries for purposes of sharing it. And so that's another species of corruption under the anti-corruption government that is not being noticed and fought by the government that came to power by anti-corruption on the mattress of fighting corruption. And there are many of these. When you read some judgments, you also weep for Nigerian people, how, for instance, an order will be made for a party in the case who is a defendant to be asked to go and investigate whether the contract you are in court to enforce had commenced. My understanding of a breach of contract is that you first of all had performed your own part of obligation of the contract. You have executed the contract. Bill of there's a name for it. You are certified to have done the job correctly too before you can say that you have not been paid before you can go to court. But a situation where there is no evidence of execution of a contract, you rush to court and you secure an order of court that the court will say a defendant in an action should go and investigate whether or not that contract has been performed. Does it not sound absurd? And it involves humongous amount of money in foreign currency. And then you are saying that we are fighting corruption. I am bothered about our character as a people. I am bothered about our love for our nation, Nigeria. How many of us really love Nigerians that we will do things in the interest of generation yet unborn? These are questions that we need to ask. So this corruption is inbuilt. And I think that on the earlier we do something about the corruption in the DNA of most Nigerians, the better for us.
When we talk about insecurity, it's not just on the road, because most times we might say, oh, this student has traveled and maybe the child was kidnapped. No, now what we are talking about now is most of them, they might come to the school and abduct them. And how do we curb this insecurity? So now we want the government to come to our aid so that insecurity in Nigerian universities would stop, so that these children can be very, very okay. They can feel comfortable.
I would suggest that everybody just tries to keep themselves safe. Like, don't come out at odd hours. Because I don't know, I've not really seen any security personnel around. Personally, I've not seen, because I have not been out so late. So personally, I try to protect myself first, and I don't put myself in certain scenarios and situations. So I think the best thing is to be at the right place at the right time.
People should know when to go out, when to go about, and then as a lady, for girls to make, if you're working in the night, just make sure you're not working alone. Like me, if I'm coming back from somewhere and it's already late, I just try to work with maybe one of the male in my school that is walking down the side I'm going to. That's it. There was a day they alerted us that we should not actually go to a specific place due to they were stealing things there, and I think they were carrying guns. And I've also heard around these school gates where they took things from people. So it's really bad, Sha. I just pray that they will take action towards it.
I've heard of cases whereby students, girls will come out in the night. They want to go for night class. Like, students that go for night class, they leave their houses around 7 p.m. Because if they leave anything later than that, like, it's going to be very bad. I've heard of cases whereby students will be coming home, returning from night cars, they are stealing from them, they are killing them, they are beating them up. Like, I just feel it's something we should take seriously.
It's not only in Nigeria university, both in the streets, everybody is affecting everybody. So our prayer is that God will help us in this nation, so that Nigeria security will return back to normal, so that everybody can be secure. Even in the streets, once it's 8 o'clock, everybody enter his room. You will not even see more vehicle. Assuming now you are going somewhere, and by 9 o'clock, you can't see any vehicle to board here. The one thing is that maybe anybody that are caught in that action is supposed to be punished, so that other people will learn their own lesson from that play aspect, so that it will reduce. Because if you think, well, if you remember what happened to another person, you were involving on it, you will say, you don't want to involve, so that they will not be caught.
Okay, we have a case in one particular university, name don't just call the name, okay, that they found a student dead, and she was actually dumped in the gutter. So someone came out and was like telling the SUG that you guys have not done anything about this student, rather, but you guys protested when Mobile died, that popular singer. You guys protested when he died. But about this student that was actually found in a gutter. And the funniest part is she's a new student in the school, that her body was found in the gutter. So for me, I have to tell, this thing is in the hand of the SUG president of the school, that they have to do something about it, because this insecurity actually lies in their hands too.
Me too, I'm also a graduate, and since I graduated, things has been so much very hard, because in this country today, if you don't have someone in the government or in upper, all these things, you find it difficult to get a job. Even when you merit it, it will still be difficult for you. So as it stands now, not only the youth, the whole country is facing challenge of hardship, you understand, because even our age parents that spend their hard-earned money to train us, expecting us to be training them back at this time of their old age, still we have nothing to offer them because of the country in it. But I wouldn't say that we are going to relent. We will still try to, we continue to push harder, even if it is learning handwork in order to earn a living, because I know that certainly one day that certificate is going to bring work, and a better one at that.
The level of unemployment in Nigeria is maximum. There's nothing to talk about it. The government are not doing anything. See youths, every time they will graduate, no work. After graduation, it seems that those people that even left school to learn skills, they are even better than us that are graduates.
I don't believe there is unemployment. There is no unemployment in Nigeria. Being a Nigerian makes you unemployed. What do I mean by that? For me, I can't be unemployed. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a chef. So I started cooking from a tender age. I learned it from my mom, then I furthered into catering school. So I feel the parental upbringing should also help in curbing unemployment. So I don't think there is unemployment. Anybody that is unemployed in Nigeria just chose to be unemployed. The problem we have in Nigeria is we always look at the government. We always look up to the government. This time around, we don't need to look at the government. We should try to strive. We should try to, like this I can't be unemployed. I keep using myself as an example. I employ people. I'm a chef. I cook. I run Uta's mobile services. So I don't see the reason why there should be unemployment. Let us leave government aside, though we need them. And that is where we should come together and look at their policies. Checkmate policies. That is where we will start looking at government. But if we are waiting for government to provide everything, it's not in Nigeria.
Like me now, I graduated in 2019 from Delta State University, and since then I haven't got a job. I've been doing everything on my own. That is why I decided to join this skill acquisition, which is investing into agriculture. And that is why I'm here today, so that I can improve myself in agriculture. And the government needs to understand and hear about this as well, because they need to improve as well in providing job opportunities for students as well. Yeah.
It's actually unemployment that can actually lead so many youths into
doing so many awful things, which doesn't really make any sense in the society, because it can actually, how will I say it can actually place so many people like into, like, let me just say for example, into stealing, into robbing, and sometimes even like changing from what they are to what they are not.
For me, dialogue will be the best way. But if dialogue did not come, that means protest will move on. If the Mr. President will understand when we come together to dialogue the issue facing the Nigerian today, it will be better. But if not, Nigerians are they are just ready. What is seeing it difficult to survive now. So that is it.
Protesting, if it's for protesting, we have been protesting for quite a long while now and nothing is still happening. So maybe dialogue.
Because most times it seems as if protest works better. Yeah, because when you do dialogue, it seems like nobody listens to you or nobody knows what, or the gravity of what you're trying to say. So I'd say protest, in as much as it's not really the best, but it's just them say our system.
Dialogue has never solved any problem in Nigeria at all. Look at the case of NSAS. It was dialogue they used before the shooting started. It was just something else. They wanted it peacefully, but another group of people still wanted it violently. So we should all do the things we know we are best at doing, because it was in that case of violence that some issues was resolved during the NSAS. Yes, some issues was resolved during that time. Protest is much better for Nigerians. I think we have that mindset, and we know that whenever we protest about something, we always have a result about it.
Personally, I don't advocate for him. In negotiation would have been better. It is only when negotiation fails then you think of protest. But I don't think the negotiation has failed. You have to present to the chief, because you know power. People don't understand what power is all about. When you get power, when you have power, a lot of sacrifice will come around you and say nothing will happen, or nothing happens. And you use your soldiers, you do your army, you do this. The person doesn't know actually what happens in him, because he's not God. And the power is, the more you see from the cup of power, the test set it becomes. Somebody who has power does not want to challenge, because he's not assuming the position of God. So it is persuasion that it counts more than anything you can think about.
Dialogue doesn't work in this part of the world though, because we have been dialoguing, we have been begging, we have been asking the government to do something tangible so that Nigerian youths can get something to do and feed themselves. You can see that parents are suffering. Most of them are going to school, but after that they had nothing to show off. They are roaming in the street doing nothing. So I think we have dialogue for a very long time. I believe that if the youths can protest, I think that would be a better way to let them know what we have in mind.
For years now, dialogue has not helped us. But the issue with Nigeria is, because I don't even know, the issue with Nigeria as it stands is, even protest might not really help us. I remember NSAS protest, it didn't lead anywhere. Dialogue is not leading anywhere. So I don't think any of them is even the solution to the problem.
The best thing normally in any democratic government where things are not going on, the best thing masses use to react is normal protest. But now in this country, I won't say the way our democracy or what, because last time we tried it, it was so bad to the citizens. So for me, dialogue, I've been dialoguing for long and it's not even any effect. So I don't know, because Nigeria now is in a state of serious political quagmire.
Wow. It's been an amazing time with you this morning. Thank you so much for being part of it. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same station. I'm Charles. Good morning.
And I'm Chiomalina. Today is actually National Spoon Money Day, so just go enjoy some nice treats of ice cream or of any form of dessert that you so delight. And I did say it's National Senior Citizens Day, so respect all the elderly ones around. I mean, older adults. It's a privilege for them being alive and still around you. Thank you so much. I will always like to say, stay in love.
From AIT Studios in Abuja, Nigeria, this is the O&M Late Show with Obiora Ilo and Mamode Akuga.
Hello and welcome. Well, it's a Friday night, and at 11 p.m., of course, you know, it's time once again to do the O&M Late Show. So delighted to be here this evening. My name is Mamode Akuga. As usual, Obiora Ilo is with me. Obiora.
Welcome to one of our specials, what we'll be calling the O&M special. One of them is coming on today. Welcome to the program, where we have a very special guest we'll be introducing in a moment. But you know, Mamode, sometimes I sit back and I say, how wonderfully well we have done in entertainment.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about Nollywood, when you talk about the music industry. I was in Ethiopia. I went to Ethiopia, and friends took me to a nightclub.
Yes.
In downtown
Addis.
And I stepped into the club. They were, they were blaring Nigerian songs.
Oh, I mean,
all the...
It's,
and it happened to me in London again.
Yes.
And it didn't happen like this years ago.
Yes, but I was going to say that it has taken quite a while, you know, to move from where we were in the past to where we are today. But, you know, for a lot of people who probably are in their 50s now, would remember that, you know, in the good old days, music was mostly foreign. Apart from, you know, a few high life songs from local artists, you know, and then you had the likes of Chris Okotie, Jidobi, Felix Libati,
Michael Cree, Alex O,
down the line, you know, and then
Monu, Oris Wiliki,
you know, and eventually the Two-Face, P-Squares, and you know, what have you. So it's been very hard work coming from where we were to where we are now, where Nigerian music is accepted internationally. And the really good aspect of it is that Nigerians can now enjoy their own music. I mean, I can't, I'm one of those, I must confess that listening to foreign music right now for me, it's something that happens every once in a blue moon. You know, so because
sometimes by accident.
By accident, really. You know?
Well, then you talk about our Nollywood. Yes. I was surprised on the streets of New York. You know, there's these. I don't know. They're like Asians. They sell pirated copies of some of. You also see in London. Areas of London.
So you see Nigerian music.
I also saw Nigerian videos being pirated. I mean, should I say I'm happy about it? No, I'm not happy about it.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is that we have gotten so popular that people from other tribes and other climes think that pirating works of Nigerians,
no, they make, it's profitable.
A lot of money.
Yes, you know, but you know that's not too good, because we want our stars to really live and like stars,
and reap
like
the
superstars.
Yes.
And reap, you know, from the hard work that they're putting into the creative work that they're doing. Well, Obiora, tonight we're going to be talking to one of those
that people who Nigerian entertainment.
Yes, he's on both sides,
yes,
really. Yeah, he's featured on both. He's a musician. He's been involved in a few movies, you know,
and in some causes that you know that is not music.
And our guest tonight, he's a brand unto himself. You know, and whenever the name gets mentioned, you know, wherever, you know, people always have one opinion or the other.
Well, they say he's controversial. They say he's wired. They say he's brilliant. You know, so many descriptions of this.
But what you can't take away from him is that he's a creative being, and has been able to do so many things, you know, with his creativity, and been able to register Nigeria international map, whether it's music, whether it's movies, whether it's just selling himself, you know, with his brand. We're talking about Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa, otherwise known as Charlie Boy.
His Royal Punkness.
Yes. Area father.
Area father. Any
you
other?
You can go on and on and on.
Charlie boy.
Yes.
He's a lot of young people see him as a home boy, you know, the guy next door and all that.
And yet there are people who just can't understand him. You know, but well, we will.
I think part of what we're going to do tonight is try to see if by any way we can make people understand him,
a little bit,
hear his story, know, you know, I mean, try to unravel the complexity that
around
Charlie,
his personality.
He was Linda too.
Yeah, so we will try to get into all that. And then we have a surprise guest later on in the program. We won't tell you about the other guest. It's a surprise.
In our bag.
Yes.
So you get to see that later.
All right.
Don't go away is your late night show, the O and M Late Show.
We'll be right back after this time out. Don't go away.
Shoe. Yeah, you found it. Good job. I'll take that one. Where's the word tree? Where's tree? Tree, that's right. I'll take tree. Thank you. Where's the word foot? Where's foot? Good job. Thank you. Where's beetle? Can you find the word beetle? Beetle, there it is. How about run? Where's the word run? Good job, that's run. Where's the word circle? Where's the word circle? Yeah, you got a circle in your hand too. Here, I'll take the word circle. Or you just want to give me the circle? Here, I'll take the word circle. Thank you. Where's the word cheek? There it is. All right. I'll take that one. What about orange? Where's the word orange? Orange. That doesn't say orange. What does that say? Orange. That doesn't say orange. What does that say? What does this say? Shoulders. Shoulders. That's right. So where is orange? There's only one word left. Can you give me the word orange? Yeah, there it is. Yes. Good job. What does that say? Orange. Orange. That's right. What about this one? What's that say? Pet. Pet. Okay. Good job, Twan. Good job.
Well, you're watching the O&M Late Show, and like we said, we have a special guest in one of our very special editions. Our pleasure to invite to join us right away His Royal Punkness.
The area father himself, Charlie Boy.
You're welcome, sir.
How are you, my brother? How are you?
Young man.
Can we try and be as informal
as possible? Well, it's when the discussion starts.
I mean, you standing up, you know, what is all that?
No, we just met His Royal Highness.
That will not the rain again.
Oh, you don't come out.
So which one you read now?
I'm just the area father.
Oh, just the area father.
Not even Charlie Boy. And I don't know who is here today. Who really did you want to interview?
Well, we wanted to interview everybody. Wanted to interview Charlie Boy, wanted to interview the area father, wanted to interview Charles Oputa, everybody.
And even Linda.
Yes, everybody.
Okay.
You know, Charlie, 64 years. It was, for me, unbelievable. When I heard it and I checked it out, I was like, this cannot be true. Because even as you sit right before me, The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you relate. I don't see anything like 50-ish in it.
Me either. I don't know who put me at 64. You know, my body feels 35.
You do work out though?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have to, you know.
I'm jealous of this.
My body feels 35, and mentally I feel 75 because of my experiences, because of my mistakes, because of my goofs. And I've fallen so many times, but I always manage to pick myself up. True, Charlie Boy means different things to different people, and there's a lot of speculations out there as to the brand, you know, and all of that. So I just allow it to go. They're putting dates on it. I don't like to put dates on anything. No.
So okay, let us. You say for now, area father is the in thing. Can you differentiate between the different personalities?
Area father just means that, you know, I'm playing a fatherly role in the scheme of things as far as Nigerian youths are concerned. You know, I'm the father. A lot of people have passed through me, you know, and they're very successful. A lot of people who pass through me, you can start naming them. I don't want to be dropping names here, but I've mentored millions of youths. I've inspired millions of youth, at least if for nothing, to embolden them to be their true self, their true authentic self. You know, so yes, and that's why I'm a father. And as Charles Saputo, you know, I have 9 kids, I have 14 grandchildren, so hey, I'm no longer a boy.
Yeah, Charlie, let's go back. It's even hard for me to call you Charlie anymore. I mean, grandfather.
That's my name.
Grandfather.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
You were a normal boy. I mean,
I'm still normal. Look at me. No rings, nothing. I'm over normal today.
And but why did you decide to come to the show like this today? I didn't know what to expect.
That's how I'm feeling today. I'm feeling so ordinary.
Okay, so
that's
me. Go back to that time. Of course, you know, you said people are trying to piece things together, but part of what we pieced together was actually went to the seminary at a point, and then you came out of the seminary. Tell us, at what point did this dual, not even dual, because Charlie Boy is not a dual personality actually. He said, I don't know what they call for like four.
So many people live in this house.
You understand what I mean?
Multiple personality.
Multiple personality, that's the word. Of course, you read communication, so you helped me out quickly. So, you know, where did this multiple personality, was it something you designed or it came by accident? Or something happened in your life that dragged you into it?
I can't really say for sure, but at every point in my life, you know, somebody has passed through it, has made me have a rethink, sort of. I remember when I was in Boston, in America, I was just getting through my previous marriage before this. I was very, very lonely. And I said I was going to go out, just drive out, because I was so lonely. Drive out and, you know, have some fun. So I picked up somebody on the street I thought was a woman, you know. It's a weird story, but you want to hear this?
Yeah,
okay. So, of course, brought her back to my apartment.
Brought him or her?
Well, it was a hard time, you know, so brought her back to the apartment, and all I just wanted was a company to pour my heart out that night. It wasn't for anything physical, you know, just to talk, somebody to talk to. And yes, talk we did till the next morning. And by the time she now walked into my bathroom and came out a man, I was like transfixed. It was like, wow. As a woman, she was very beautiful. As a man, he was so handsome. And I'm like, I could play this too. And that was where that started, I think. That was how that started. And if you remember on Charlie Boy Show, I played Miss Ziggy Ziggy. You know, I did a lot of drag queen things on the Charlie Boy Show. You know, and yes, Charlie Boy, we know, is all conjured. It doesn't exist. He doesn't exist, really. It's a character I built out of from my imagination, my fantasy. You know, somebody to shock timid, myopic, Mongo packish last year Nigerians out of their way of thinking. You know, so that was the Charlie Boy character. I have another one that lives in here, and I call him Cheetah. Cheetah is a spiritual guide, you know, the one that makes sure that spiritually I'm at peace with myself, I'm content, and I'm happy. So that's Cheetah, that's Linda, that's Charlie Boy, that's Mr. Puta.
All put together.
All in one.
In one. But you know, at any point in your life, did it bother you that you were the son of this very respectable Nigerian, and to a large extent people could not place you properly?
It was good that people couldn't place me properly. I never wanted anybody to place me properly. And because I know that people are fickle-minded, Charlie Boy is, the brand Charlie Boy is all contrived. I know you know that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they don't, but it's all contrived. So, and I just, like I keep telling people, I'm really not a musician. I just dabbled into it because I wanted quick fame. Quick fame. I was tired after my youth corps, and of course there was a job waiting for me, which I didn't want to. I didn't need the job because I couldn't picture myself in a 9-to-5 kind of, you know, no way. Yeah. So, and then of course when I told my parents that this was what I wanted to do rather than work a 9-to-5, of course they felt scandalized, sort of, yeah. So I decided to disown them and stay on my own.
You don't want to wait for them to disown you.
No, I disowned them. You know, I mean, when this was in Owerri, this was in 79 or 80. So when they were on their way to Lagos, I was on my way, guess where? Back to the village. And I stayed in that village for 8 years, from America back to the village. Transition.
Why did you have to do that?
Because I didn't want to be following somebody who didn't believe in me, you know, who thought I was wasting my life, you know. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to find my own path.
What were you doing in the village for 8 years?
In the village,
you already had the dual character?
No, that was when I started to mold all of that, you know. But I started with doing a recording studio. You know,
village?
Yes. The first year was exciting. I had some small business come, you know, putting body and soul together. But after the first year, it was horrific. Horrific. Now, everybody knows the pedigree I come from. I've never had anything to do with poverty, but for those 8 years, yes. I knew poverty, I experienced poverty, I came face to face with poverty.
Because you disowned your parents who could have helped out.
Yes, but they are the ones smiling now.
Were you living in their house in the village, or you built your own house in the village?
No, of course then I couldn't afford to build my house now. I was just starting. I don't get money, nothing.
So I'm just wondering.
So yeah, I was living in their house, in the boys' quarter.
When you had disowned them?
Yes.
They didn't throw you out?
No, they didn't throw me out. I guess if they could, they would have thrown me out.
But let me ask you, you know.
But you know, let me just tie that up. I stayed 8 years in the village. I went from a studio owner, and then when that business just dried up, and I mean totally dried up, I started to sell pepper soup, yes. I started to sell beer. I had a small booker where I sold pepper soup and beer. And after a while, things became so hard, so very hard. My wife had to leave back to America to work to send me some small money. Because the last thing I wanted to do was to go back to my people to say, please,
help me.
You know, help me. because I know my father. I used to hate my father before. There was no love lost between me and my father. I thought he was a barbarian. I thought he was wicked, you know, because out of all my siblings, it looks like I was the one getting the short end of the stick all the time. But then again, yes, I was stubborn. And the only saving grace for those 8 years was my angel, the woman I call Tina Onwudiwe, the African Oyibo. Yes. I'm sure you guys remember. She took me out of that village situation and put me in Lagos, paid for my first year rent in Lagos. In fact, the first 2 years she paid for it. Wow. And then she introduced me to different people in Lagos. That was how I started.
You had known her before then?
No, before living in the village? No, I met Tina 3 years after staying in the village, one of my rare trips to Lagos. Then, you know, I used to travel by luxurious bus, and they would give me, of course, now there was no money, so they would give me, yes, that small seat to sit at the
very uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do, especially when you're as stubborn as I am. You know, you don't hear what people are saying. Is that goal, that focus, you keep your eyes on the ball all the time. And that's why when people say to me, aren't you going to change? I say, change to what? I don't change. I mean, it's a brand that works for me, so what's the change about?
They're not complaining.
No.
So, you know, the question, Mamode, the question I wanted to ask, I mean, be fair to everyone. This was a guy they took to the United States to go to school, graduated.
I did go to school, I did graduate, yes. What else?
I'm not going to that with you, Charlie. So you come back, and your father and mother saw a completely different human being. If you went
no, it didn't start like that. I didn't come
They wanted, first they wanted you to study law.
No, they didn't want me. In my family, no, they don't. My parents don't hustle you to do whatever, anything in particular. But I know that my father would have wished that I studied law. But wishes are horses, and beggars ain't riding yet.
Yeah.
So I just had to do what I had to do. But the good thing about it was that my relationship with especially my father, you know, wasn't strained all along, yeah? I think for about the past 35 years, we made up, yeah? I remember when things were going okay for me in Lagos. I just started. Tina was so helpful, you know, in my life. And I just built my first house. And then my father comes to visit one day, and the next day I said, okay, I want to take you somewhere. So I took him to this new site, and he looked at it, never said a word. Then we came back, and in my head I was like, so this guy no even appreciate anything. You know? You know? Before then, all I heard from my father was, oh, you want to throw your life away, you don't want to be responsible, blah, 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 blah. You should have done blah, blah. Give me a break. And that was why I stayed in ENUGU, so I won't hear those things again, yeah? So we now came back. He slept in my room throughout the night. He didn't say nothing to me. Then in the morning, in the morning, usually I just escort him downstairs, goes to the car, I say bye-bye, and, you know, off he goes. This time I decided I wasn't going to do that. So I stayed in my bed, and the man just carried his briefcase. He walked out the room, shut the door. I said, oh, thank God, you know. And then he comes back again. And then he goes, you know, I never really said this to you, but he was looking to me like, it seemed to me like the words were so heavy in his mouth. And he turned around and said, you know, I'm really proud of you. And I felt like I was going to freak out.
Didn't know where that came from.
It was like, no, I've never heard him talk like that to me before. It was always in the negative. You can't do this, you can't do that. For this man, and I think that all the struggle before then was, okay, how am I going? I'm going to beat this guy hands down. If he has any kind of popularity, I'm going to have 3 times as more. If he has any kind of money, I'm going to have 100 times as more. And then, of course, all my dreams were achieved. So, you know, for the past 12 years, I brought him. He was living with me in Abuja. He died in my house. You know, unfortunately, he didn't die in my arms, but he died in my house. And, you know, sometimes, you know, in the evenings, we were sitting down. He's drinking his stout. I'm drinking my Coke. And I'll go, Shebi, what if I had taken your advice? What would have happened? He said, yeah. Then he'll now go say something like, you know, parents are not God. They can't always be right. Yeah. And I said, but that's what I'm talking about. You shouldn't always dictate. Our job as parents is to just talk to the children, make them your friend, give them advice if you think they're going offbeat, but allow them to develop in the way, however they are wired. Just encourage them. Well, for me, you know, maybe it was the bullying that helped me become who I am. Okay, made me more tenacious about my pursuit.
Charlie, do you mind if I ask you who you are?
I'm Charles Oputa, you know, just an ordinary person. I'm very boring, as Mr. Oputa, very, very boring. You don't want to hear my routine as Mr. Oputa. I don't even have a social life.
And you've drank, all you've had all your life is Coke?
No, I don't mess with alcohol.
Drugs?
Drugs. I experimented a little bit. That was 45 years ago.
So what's your high? What's your high, you know?
My high?
You're like a hyper-sensitive person.
Yeah, my high is that I could mess with your mind. That's my high. I'm a mind
How would you do that?
Player. Yeah. How? This the same way.
You try to do it while you're.
Not the same way I mess with everybody.
I think I'm messing with everybody.
I mean,
who is he?
Someone will say, demonic. This person will say he has under spirituality.
Which one is that? Is something
a different.
Okay,
Illuminati. This person say, he belongs to this cult, you know. And then when people meet me, it's like, wait in the worry. Are you okay? They don't understand.
They're waiting for you to
yeah, they're waiting for me. They think I'll be loud and obnoxious and, you know, I'll be carrying on, but that's not who I am.
You know, behind, you know, under all this facade.
That's what it is.
Yes. There is a family man.
Oh,
you
yeah.
There is a family man.
Father, grandfather.
Father, grandfather, loving husband. You know. How
can be any different.
How do you put all that together with, with everything around you and all that, the family life?
What around me? What's everything around me? I've always had family around me. I watched my father, you know, live with my mother. I think they've been together for more than 60 years. Even till my father passed, I watched them holding hands. I watched them sometimes stealing kisses, as old as they are.
Wow.
And, you know, even when I was having problems as a teenager, you know, coming into adulthood, you know, because I was married previously, I think about 2 or 3, I lost count, you know, and they didn't work. But I think it was all to prepare me, for
where you are now.
Yeah, where I am. I mean, I've lived with my present wife for the past 37 years. And it's not like a bed of roses like people would think. You have to work at it, you know. And but my parents were my model. That's what I saw. And regardless of, you know, sometimes I didn't even appreciate when they were arguing, really fighting, or when they were being lovey-dovey, you know. Because no sooner have they shouted at each other, I see them holding hands and doing stuff, you know. So that's what I grew up seeing. And even it bothered me when I was going through marriages that, you know, I mean, that maybe I'm not cut out for marriage.
But how do you relate with your children? I mean, with this multiple personality.
They're my friends. No, see, Charlie Boy is not in the house. He does not come to the house. Linda has no business. No, it's just Charles Soputa. And
when you wore all those things, you came to the house dressed that way. Came out of the house dressed.
When I wore what?
All your gear.
And then my kids will know I'm going to work.
And also to put food on the table.
Yes.
You know, we have a big surprise. We are not bringing it out yet.
Not surprise for me.
Not
surprise for you.
You know, whether you like it or not, you are a Nigerian musician. Whether it was part of your game,
yeah,
we see you, and a lot of people see you as a successful Nigerian musician. I remember what that means. Of course, Felix won't stop singing, 1990, and all that. Of course, you've been in entertainment. Tell me, when Tina brought you to Lagos so many years ago, when you look back at all those years, how would you describe the progress or non-progress the entertainment industry may have made in Nigeria?
I'm quite impressed. I'm very impressed. You know, I pioneered the big money in this business as a PMAN president. I pioneered our due respect in this business as a PMAN president, and that was my falling out with corporate bodies where I was locked up because I said over somebody else's dead body, not mine, that you're going to bring foreign artists to disrespect my Nigerian artist. And you better stop paying that kind of useless money that they used to pay to the artists before. Okay? So I pioneered all of that, and I am happy that today, individually, talentful everywhere.
All over.
Okay? But collectively, I don't think we're doing that great. Individually, yes. There are a lot of artists today that I doff my heart for, you know, young people coming up. Some even passed through my university.
I see you try to do one or two things with one or two of them.
Yeah, and then, you know, there was a time that, you know, Nigerian music wasn't played in nightclubs, you know. I argued about that. I remember this incident in the plane. I think it was Al-Bakr Air. As a PMAN president, you dare not play anything that is not Nigerian around me. I won't have that. In fact, I will fight you, Sha. You know. And then these days, what do you see? Just Nigerian music in the nightclub.
Yes.
So I'm happy about that. I mean, it's progress being made over the years. But collectively, we need to do something, you know.
What are you suggesting?
What exactly?
I'm hoping that PMAN will get his act right to at least let it be the umbrella that everybody can come under. You know, we need that too.
All right. Well, you're still watching the O&M show. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll unveil our surprise guest. Don't go away.
Onyama baby oh, onyama baby mo, onyama baby mo, afulunginanya matamisi mo, ikakwegumebu matamisi mo, hey, asampete mwanyoma, lo 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 lo. Watamisi, ife ya sogwemo, ife ya sogwemo, ife ya sogwemo. Otrisi ekwoku, otrisi aga, omume ya sogwemo. Watamisi le, watamisi, ife ya sogwemo Watamisi ife ya sogwemo onyoma ololo onyoma asampete wanyoma onyoma munagige bio onyoma ife ya sogwemo onyoma Watamisi le onyoma asampete wanyoma onyoma
You're still watching the O&M show, and we're privileged to have Charlie Boy Oputa. And we're even more privileged knowing that on a day he was coming on our show, he had to keep a lot of the other personalities away. I think he came here with Charlie Boy. No. Charles Oputa.
Well, if you ask me, it's been a little bit of every one of them.
No, but I didn't see Charlie Boy. I've not seen Charlie Boy.
Charlie Boy is not here today.
Well, we have a special guest. You know, when Charlie Boy was opening, he said he was a father and grandfather. And one of his grandchildren is joining us
on the show.
We have Olivia Ede. One of the so many. Olivia, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Welcome, Olivia.
Okay. So what do you see when this man is standing in front of you? Do you see Granddad? Do you see Charlie Boy? Do you see Linda? Do you see Ziggy? What do you see?
I see Charles Oputa, Granddad.
Granddad?
Yeah.
Tell us about him.
Oh, well, at home, he's Charles Oputa, his granddad, he makes sure he gives advice.
Advice?
Yeah, every time I have problems, I always run to go meet him because he always knows all the answers.
Wow.
Yeah, every school
I know all the answers?
Daddy, you know all the answers.
Okay.
If I have issues in school or, I'm just going through something I can't really talk about, he's always there for me.
You know, so we don't talk about their ages. Well, maybe you should give us an idea,
Of my
like, how old are you?
I'm 20.
20?
And I'm the first grandchild.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you actually have royal...
So, you're still in school?
Yes, I'm still in school.
What are you studying now?
I'm studying media advertising and public relations.
Oh,
what school is that?
Middlesex University.
Oh, okay.
In the United Kingdom.
In Mauritius. It's an island.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have an idea. So I see that
some chemistry.
Yeah, with the grandparent, and did he influence your study in advertising, communications, and?
I think it's in the blood.
Oh, it's in the blood.
Yeah, because I started doing law first because I wanted to follow the footsteps of my great-grandfather.
Oh, okay.
But then when I started doing it, it wasn't really me. Because I like to talk, I do makeup, I'm part of I'm very creative, I'm good with my hands. So I'm like, this is not for me. I don't see myself practicing. So I changed my course and I started doing media.
Let me ask you, growing up, did you grow up in Nigeria at all?
Yes, I did.
Were you taunted that you were the granddaughter of Charlie Boy, the man that dresses like women? It's always
I don't dress like a woman.
That's for the show. With things on his nose and big watches, big bike.
Well,
was it any disadvantage or advantage to you?
I understood what it was about, but then as a young adult and everything, and you have friends that don't understand, they come up to you and ask you questions. Oh, your granddad did this, your granddad did that. And I always have to explain to them, but I knew that it's part of his career, his showbiz, and to me it was okay.
It never bothered you?
It never bothered me. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, but I'm like, I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that, but.
So it still shocks you every now and then.
Yeah, some stunts he pulls that are quite shocking, but then I'm like,
Is he mellowing down with age?
Yes, he is. I like that part.
Like this morning?
Yeah, no rings, nothing. He's just like, I don't feel like. I'm like, that's good.
Did you ask him this morning, Dad, is that you?
And ever since his birthday, he's kind of mellowed down. So I don't know. I think maybe.
So tell me, what happened with your birthday?
Some kind of realization that you were getting old?
No. I'm just bored.
You're bored.
Yeah, I'm just looking for something to give me a kick, to inspire me. And I guess that's why my frequent visits to Lagos now. Because Abuja is so boring. Oh my God.
Don't tell me you're going back to the punk place in Lagos, in Bagada.
I may. Who knows what I'm going to do next as Charlie Boy. I may, because I'm not being inspired in this.
In Abuja?
In Abuja, no.
We need to talk
there's too much of government and politicians.
that's not my way now. So I want to go where you have the area boys economy, you have the artist economy, you have the Okada economy. Here, it's just politics
economy. What brought you to Abuja? Because I was ready.
What brought me to Abuja? Yes. I just wanted, when I was in Lagos, I was almost... I was a little irresponsible because I didn't have that kind of time for my family, and that bothered me. The action was too much. It was always going for one advocacy or the other, or different people who have problems, and I had to go and
help them sort it out.
Help them sort it out. I didn't have a life of my own. Okay, yes, I was in the same house with my wife, but we weren't really talking to each other. So I thought that, okay, maybe coming to Abuja would just help me mellow down. Yeah. And after 12 years, my God, I am bored shitless.
Okay,
so,
Charlie.
So Lagos beckons.
Yes. Let me, when you did that song 1990, a lot of Nigerians said, oh, that's another new fella, somebody that was moving into the big shoes of
it was a courageous courageous song at the time.
Looking at Nigeria today, looking at our democracy, looking at our development, do you think you shouldn't be going back to do 2016 or something?
Actually, I'm doing that now, but it's not something I want to talk about that freely till it is done. And I'm not impressed with, the political scene. Yeah. I said before even we had a winner, in the election, that what Nigeria needs is a benevolent dictator. You can take it any way you want. But things have gone butch too much. Things have spoiled so much that we need, as people, to be whipped back into shape. And I pray and I sincerely hope that the people now in government can do exactly that. I'm encouraged that the fact that we did not have the list of ministers in a hurry. So that means some thinking is going into it. I'm just hoping that by the time the list comes out, that we'll see people who will make us feel that, because it's not just about appointing ministers.
Would you accept the ministerial appointment?
No, no.
No.
It's not my way. I'm not an office person.
Because you end up 9 to 5.
But Oliver, do you agree with your granddad that, you know, Nigeria, I mean, you are much younger generation now, you agree that we need to somehow be whipped back into line, that kind of thing with the government? Do you see it that way?
I think we need a strong hand, yes, but I don't know about being whipped, but...
Okay,
yes, I agree.
Okay, Charlie, let me ask you, did it ever bother you that because people didn't really know you deeply, that you would have misguided a couple of young people?
Misguided how?
Well, they see you...
misled.
Sorry. Misled.
No, that's not the right word for it.
Charlie, do you know that for me, it was a surprise when you said you don't do drugs.
Yes.
You don't drink.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Because people see you from afar, they have so many things in their heads.
That's labeling, that's stigmatization, that's, you know, what people don't understand, you know, they label. Don't forget what the brand was built for. To shock timid, myopic, Mongo-packaged Nigerians out of their way of thinking. You can't just see somebody and judge him by how he looks. After all the people where they thief on money, nobody are bothered in the wear. They dress well. Has anybody heard I stole any money since? What are we talking about here? You can't make judgments like that. I'm the typical example that says don't judge a book by its cover.
Image.
Because, you know, our people are too lazy. We can't think again. Anything where your pastor tell you, now they do. Yeah? So, hey, I have not misled any young person, ever. In fact, the young people are more tuned in to the message. The message has been that of consistency, tenacity, tremendous self, and believe in yourself. You see it all over the world, all over the rocks in Abuja. Yeah. Believe in yourself. Because if only you believe in yourself like I believed in myself, even my parents couldn't even deter me from my dreams. I chased it till I got the ultimate respect from the man Justice Oputa.
Any regrets?
No. I don't deal with regrets. I have no, the regret has no.
Even the goofs.
The goofs they were good, you know. I've always, as Charlie Boy, walked on the edge. So if I fall, like I said in the beginning, I've fallen so many times over and over. But what it does for me is that as soon as I fall, I pick myself up. And,
a better person.
You know, I come out better.
So fall. But always pick yourself up. Keep your eyes on the ball. I think that's part of what I learned today.
Yes, me too. Me too. All right.
It's been nice talking with you guys.
Very, very nice. I think, so, yes, you can. At this point, yes, sure, we want to give you...
What is O and M, by the way?
That's Obiora and Mamode.
Okay.
Yes.
That's our own little secret.
Okay. So this is where we present the mug to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, for your coffee at home. If
let them see the middle sex.
I don't mind holding this. Yes, these are great guys. Yes, I'm going to drink my tea. Thank you.
What a day. Yeah, so
what a day.
That's where we draw the curtain on our show today. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us, and of course Charlie Boy and the granddaughter Olivia. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Mahmoud, I enjoyed myself.
Really enjoyed myself.
One of the few times I really enjoy myself.
Yes.
Enjoy myself too.
My name is Mahmoud Akuna. Thank you so much for watching.
I am O in the O and M. I'm Obiora. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir. Matamisimo, zikene mi fije menganga. Matamisimo, wa mi fije menganga. Onyama baby onyama baby mo. Onyama baby mo. Afolonginanya matamisimo. Ikakwebumebu matamisimo. Hey, asampete mwanyoma. Lo 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 lo. Alumnaga fenuzo matamisene manya wekweni.
We should also ask, do we have productive civil servants who go to work, who earn the salary, even the little they are being paid? The government needs to look at, if we must fight corruption, and very seriously, apart from looking at the wages being paid to them, which is meager, which if you look at the per capita income of Nigeria, is nothing to write home about, which is meager. And everybody does whatever he or she wants to do in order to keep body and souls together. That has created a leeway for corruption. Just like we talk about the remuneration of judicial officers, for instance. A judicial officer is not being well remunerated. That's the same judicial officer that is being called upon to decide issues involving trillions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of pounds sterling. And his salary is not even up to $1,000. And then you are saying that such a judge, if not well trained in character, learning and comportment, and one who abhors corruption, certainly will give a corrupt judgment in favor of the highest bidder. And so, going back to the civil servant, I agree their remuneration should be upped. But when you up the remunerations of public officers, we should also see that you don't recruit 5 persons to do a job that 1 person can do. And then we, in another advanced country where we copy this civil service of a thing from, you don't use your hour for work for private conversation, or for truancy, or for moving from one place to the other, selling your coke, mineral, and your money to people in the offices. But in Nigerian offices today, you will see that civil servants they move from office to office, even in their offices, instead of paying detailed attention to documents and other things, in the interest of Nigerian people, they have more interest in their businesses than the work. So we must look at the remuneration, must look at the people we are recruiting into public offices, because in those days, civil servants were not politicians. They were political. But we now began to talk about so many things in Nigeria called freedom. We then have authorities that even as a civil servant, you can belong to a political party. And so the neutrality expected of a civil servant is going down in geometrical proportion, because civil servants now switch allegiance to political parties that comes to power, even when that political party and politicians are doing wrong things. In other crime, where we have institution, I always give this example of Donald Trump. if America did not have a strong democratic institution, strong military institution, strong electoral body, Donald Trump would have still remained a president of America. Will the situation in United States of America ever happen in Nigeria where the Independent Electoral Commission will look at the face of the governor, will look at the face of the ministers, look at the face of Mr. President and say this election is not free and fair? I had always advocated that INEC that is to be assisted, that are being assisted in most litigations in court by losers of election, always team up with those who fraudulently impose themselves on the in power to defend the fraudulent activities of those politicians. So I have always not regarded INEC as independent. It's independent in name, but when it comes to action, INEC, particularly in litigation, and when you know you issue a press statement that the election in that area is not free and fair, why then somersaulting it overnight to defend that election? Particularly in a democracy where you see people carrying helicopter and gun, parading in the air, scaring people, dead body littering all over the world, all over the places, and you are saying that is democracy because that election cannot be said to be free, fair, and credible. You have intimidated people, and it includes undue influence to force yourself on the Nigerian people. It again boils down to our personal character and attitude. How many of us are really ready to defend our principle in the face of money, mouth-watering, daggling money? Even as a civil servant, they ask you to sign the documents. You are signing because you have been promised 10%. These are things we need to do, need to look at.
Yeah, it's E-Vibes. Welcome to E-Vibes Entertainment Show on Signature TV. And I'm your wonderful host for today, Lawumi Adeyemi. So we are here again to give you amazing, entertaining gists all over the world. So stay tuned. So for the first story, P-Square's Paul Okoye queries Peter Jude. And can't we still be brothers? Famous Nigerian musician Paul Okoye, popularly known as Rude Boy of the P-Square, has questioned why he and his brothers can't come together as families even if they are no longer working together professionally. The rift in P-Square became public when Paul, in an interview, accused his twin brother of petitioning the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to arrest him. Reacting to the allegations, Peter, in an open letter on social media, denied the accusations, stating that his focus was on uncovering the truth behind the secret company, Northside Music, allegedly owned by their elder brother, Jude Okoye, and his wife, Ifeoma. Famous Nigerian musician Paul Okoye, aka Rude Boy of the P-Square, has questioned why he and his brothers can't come together as family members. In response, the elder brother Jude, in an Instagram live session on Saturday, denied the allegations by Peter that he diverted P-Square's royalty worth millions of dollars into a private account. However, speaking during an Instagram live on Monday, August 19, 2024, Rude Boy said if he and his brother don't do P-Square, can't they be brothers? Even if they can't do music, can they be brothers? So you see Rude Boy telling us that, okay, he wants his brothers back. He wants their family, like the bond, keep it together. He wants this back. Who knows, maybe this is truly what he wants. But, you know, if you look at this is a family matter. Why are we seeing it on the blogs? But still, we just hope that everything works out for them. Yeah, in other story, Nollywood star Wale Ojo to direct new film. This is not in Nollywood.
Welcome to Signature TV News. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, Anti-Graft Agency arrests Kwakwanso, PEMSEC and others over fraud. Nigerian workers threaten National Grid and Telecom shutdown on Thursday over plan to arrest Ajero. NAF kills 5 terrorist commanders and 35 fighters in Borno. And Romanian police raid home of Andrew Tate amid human trafficking probe. Details shortly. The Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested Garba Musa Kwakwanso, a nephew to the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP presidential candidate Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Local Government, the Chairman, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Algon, Kano State Chapter, over the alleged involvement in a drug supply fraud to 44 local government areas. The agency earlier picked Alhaji Mohammed Kabawa, the Permanent Secretary of State, Minister of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, over the alleged multi-billion-naira drug supply scam, then went ahead to arrest others involved in the alleged deal. Also arrested by the Commission is the Chairman of the State Branch of Algon, Abdullahi Bashir, who was also the Chairman of Tauroni Local Government Area. The suspects were accused of connivance to award the contract to Novamed Pharmaceuticals for the supply of drugs to 38 local government areas in the state, violating public procurement laws. Preliminary investigations, according to the Commission, revealed that each of the 38 local governments paid 9.1 million naira to Novamed for the procurement of drugs, but the drugs were not supplied. Musa Garba Kwakwanso, the managing director of Novamed, was also nephew to Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso, was also arrested. All the suspects are said to have cooperated with the Commission's investigation team. Public Relations Officer of the Commission, Kabiru I. Kabiru, confirmed the arrest, adding investigation was ongoing. Kabiru said that the Commission was working to unravel the full extent of the scam and bring those responsible to justice. He also confirmed that the suspects were in the Commission's custody. The President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajaero, has given reason why he did not honor the invitation by the police on Tuesday. In a letter addressed to the Inspector General of Police from the Femi Falana chambers, who are solicitors to the NLC and its president, Ajaero said he received the invitation only the previous day and that he already had a fixed engagement before he received the invitation. Ajaero said he would be prepared to appear for the interview as requested by the police on Wednesday next week, the 29th of August. The NLC president, however, requested for the details and nature of the allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, treasonable felony and subversion, and cybercrime leveled against him. The letter, which was signed by Samuel Ogala on behalf of a principal partner at the Falana and Falana chambers, was specifically directed to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Sanusi. In another development, Nigerian workers in the telecommunications and electricity sectors have threatened to shut down the national grid and telecommunications services at midnight Wednesday if the President of Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, is arrested by the Nigeria Police Force. This was contained in separate notices on Tuesday by the General Secretaries of the National Union of Electricity Employees and the National Union of Postal and Telecommunications Employees, Dominic Igwebike and Mary Mwosu. This comes after the police, in a letter on Monday, summoned Ajaero for questioning on Tuesday of an alleged link to terrorism financing and other allegations. Meanwhile, in reaction to the development, NUEE, NUPTE, and other unions have vowed to down tools if Ajaero is arrested. According to a notice to members, the NUEE, consisting of workers in Transmission Company of Nigeria, said that upon any arrest of the NLC president or any other labor leader, all workers are to down tools from 12 midnight, 21st August 2024. Similarly, NUPTE workers in the postal and telecom sector in Nigeria followed the directive of the NUEE. NLC on Tuesday, after a meeting, had vowed to embark on a nationwide strike if Ajaero is arrested. The development portends a danger to Nigeria's economy as electricity and telecoms are the engine room. Recall that on June 3, the national grid was shut down as a blackout hit Nigeria after workers commenced an indefinite strike. Senior lawyers, activists, and stakeholders in the nation's justice system have called on the incoming Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, to reform the judiciary. They noted that a complete overhaul of Nigeria's judiciary is essential to restore public confidence in its arm of government. Two professors of law, Ernest Ojukwu, SAN, and Samuel ENUGU, SAN, alongside other panelists at a roundtable discussion in Abuja, lamented the state of Nigeria's judiciary. Speaking at the session, activist Aisha Yusufu and the panelists insisted that a total reform is needed in the judiciary in the best interest of justice delivery. During the event, where a 5-point agenda was drafted as a guide for the incoming CJN, Professor Ojukwu advised the new CJN to ensure that Nigerians do not become disillusioned, but rather the principles of equity, fairness, and justice become our watchword. The professor also called on the courts to distance themselves from election cases to ensure that only true winners at the polls become leaders. Samuel ENUGU San suggested that the Supreme Court should be reformed to allow it to review its own judgments, especially in cases where there is significant public outcry. The State Coordinator of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC in River State, Mr. George Mfongang, has raised concern over the alarming rate of migration of young Nigerian graduates abroad in search of greener pastures. He expressed a concern when he received the River State Commander of the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Mrs. Mwamaka Ikediashi, in his office on Tuesday in Port Harcourt. Mfongang would describe Nigeria as a great country with great potential for our graduate youths, called on leaders and citizens to be patriotic, disciplined, honest, and savvy. Ikediashi that core members in Rivers will benefit more from a sensitization if NYSC included the NAPTIP proposal in its orientation timetable nationwide. Earlier, Ikediashi had informed the state NYSC boss that she was in his office to seek collaboration with the management towards sensitizing core members on the dangers of illegal migration, especially among young graduates. Said NAPTIP management resolved to engage in a strategic partnership with NYSC to speak to the hearts and consciences of core members to dissuade them from illegal migration, given its attendant hazards. She advised core members to avoid the activities of fake agencies and agents who would bring young graduate youths into believing that it will help them get good jobs and good life abroad. The air component of Operation Hardin Kai has eliminated 5 key terrorist commanders alongside more than 35 foot soldiers in a successful air interdictions in Arena, southern two-bones of Borno. This is contained in a statement by AVN Edward Gapwet, the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, on Wednesday in Abuja. Gapwet said the terrorist commanders killed in the airstrikes on August 16 include Mosin Arika, Sani Dila, Amer Modu, Dan Fulani Fari Fari, and Bakura Arena Chiki. He said the air interdiction was a decisive effort to further weaken the activities of remnants of terrorists operating in the northeast, while also protecting innocent civilians and the troops. According to him, intelligence had revealed the clandestine migration of terrorists into the area from neighboring locations prior to the mission. This operation, no doubt, significantly degraded the operational capacity of a few remaining terrorists in the region. He said the Nigerian Air Force remains committed to supporting the efforts of the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies in safeguarding the region and ensuring peace and security will prevail. The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Bauchi State Office, has begun a 3-day exercise in Bauchi market to mop up fake Milo chocolate drink in circulation. Dr. Paul Kamai made this known on Wednesday in an interview with newsmen in Bauchi. He said the exercise will last for 3 days, starting Tuesday. The state director also said that the agency has scheduled a date within the week to engage the leadership of the Association of Agrochemical Dealers on the dangers of chemicals on foods, indicating that these are dangerous chemicals that have been banned over time. Kamai called the attention of bakers and packaged water producers to renew their licenses within the stipulated 2 years timeline. He said failure to renew the operational licenses could result in penalties that might affect business operations. The police command in Katsina State has decorated 109 newly promoted inspectors and assistant superintendents of police, ASPs. The promoted officers were decorated with their new ranks in Katsina on Tuesday by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Aliyu Abubakar Musa. It is reported that the officers were decorated in the presence of their elated family members, colleagues, and friends. The Commissioner, in his remarks, commended Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, Inspector General of Police, for recognizing the officers' hard work and dedication, congratulated the officers on their well-deserved promotions, and urged them to continue demonstrating exceptional commitment to duty. It was a tense moment at the beginning of a stakeholders meeting of the Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission with the Inter-Party Committee in the state yesterday. been Tuesday as several party leaders took the release election timetable to the cleaners. Tempers, however, mellowed after they were able to extract commitment from ANSEC to reflect on the various ways put together by the parties. Ndu Okpaleze of Signature TV, Anambra Bureau, was there and now reports.
The IPAC stakeholders meeting had in attendance leaders of most political parties, to wit, Labour Party, APC, PDP, APGA, Accord Party, Action Alliance, Zenith Party, Action Democratic Congress, Boot Party, among others. Most of the speakers were unhappy with the development, which they believe is hushed. People's Democratic Party's spokesman, Chief Chigozie Igwe, fired the first salvo.
The insult is too much to our people. The sensibilities of our people are being insulted by this time. It will be challenged, and it will not stand. I can assure you that. It will be challenged from every angle, because the desperation of the ruling party is too much. Well, the politics belongs to all of us. The system belongs to all of us. If you're a football player, you are playing to a particular team. The football system is in your interest to secure the football system, because the other team are playing.
Among the major issues raised were the need for the update on the voters register to enable those who have turned 18 to experience polling. The state chairman of APC, Chief Basil Ejidike, called for a shift in the date to enable parties have more time to conduct primaries and embark on campaigns. The state secretary of Labour Party, John Okole Akrika Esquire, said his party's grouse is hinged on perceived infraction on the electoral law.
Issue of issuance of notice is at the basis, is fundamental, is transcendental in conduct of local government election, and that it is only the law made by the National Assembly that will regulate the issue of issuance of notice. So it is, with respect, grossly incompetent for the Anambra House Assembly to have purported to have legislated on notice of election.
Chief Ifeatu Okoye said his party, APGA, was ready to meet up with the polls on 28th of September, pointing out that readiness at all times was the hallmark of party mobilization. The state chairman of IPAC, Chief Uche Uguoji, explained that the parties were ready for the polls, but wants INEC to stick to the laid-down procedures.
We have an existing law in Anambra State. We also have the Constitution. Anybody who feels that the process which has commenced under ANSEC, Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission, that there's something wrong with the law, the person can go to the court, definitely, and ventilate. All this grandstanding before pressmen and carrying about law books is most unethical, and that's not part of the ethics of our practice.
For the Chief Electoral Officer of ANSEC, Mrs. Genevieve Osakwe, the stakeholders meeting was an eye-opener and assured that whatever steps to be taken by the Commission must be guided by the laws.
We didn't get through ITAP. That's where we have support. But the first step we took was to go to various offices. And as long as the election can go on, just like I said before, without the political process. The only reason all the trouble that we did go through time. But the first step we took was to go to all the offices. All the offices registered political parties in Anambra. But with one after the other. Just like I said, both of them were under law.
It remains to be seen how these many voices will eventually end up with one voice. Ndu Okpaleze, Signature TV News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Imo Command, has commended retired Assistant Commander of Narcotics, ACN Chief Philip Ihechu, for projecting the image of the agency positively and serving the country well. The Deputy State Commander, NDLEA Imo, Maurice Ubuna, gave a commendation during a ceremony organized in honor of EHU on Tuesday in Owerri. We want to praise EHU for its dedication, hard work, and commitment to fighting illicit drugs in Nigeria, describing him as a true patriot who gave his life to the service of the nation. It described EHU as a shining example of what it means to serve with integrity, passion, and dedication. In his remarks, EHU said it was fulfilled to have had the opportunity to serve the country. EHU also urged for more funding for NDLEA to improve the output. He commended the NDLEA for providing him the platform to serve the nation and also thanked God for preserving his life to see his retirement day from his civil service. The Medical Women's Association of Nigeria, MWAN, has, as a matter of urgency, urged the federal government to put an end to incessant abduction of health workers across the country. The national president of the association, Professor Rosemary ENUGU, made a call at a news conference in Port Harcourt on Tuesday. She frowned at the alarming trend of kidnappers targeting medical practitioners who dedicate their lives to serving others. ENUGU cited the recent abduction of Dr. Ekanem Phillips in Calabar over a year ago. Dr. Ganiat Popola kidnapped on December 2 in Kaduna as examples of this troubling issue. ENUGU urged President Bola Tinubu to direct security agencies to address the underlying security issues that had made health workers vulnerable to abductions. She emphasized the urgent need for the safety of healthcare workers who are often overworked, underpaid, overlooked, and now live in constant fear. ENUGU said that in spite of multiple letters to security agencies and the federal government regarding this escalating crisis, the kidnapping of healthcare workers had continued. She called for global action to address increasing violence against medical professionals in the country. Up ahead, FG moves to establish National Housing Data Center, inaugurates committee. Shetima seeks enhanced cooperation, regional integration with Tanzania. Stay with us. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Dasset David as the new President, Chief Executive Officer of the Digital Bridge Institute, DBI. In a statement on Tuesday by spokesman Chief Ajurun Gelali, the President described David as an academic and industry expert with a deep understanding of digital technologies and educational leadership. The President also approved the appointment of Ruben Oshoma as Executive Director, Marketing, Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited, and Adama Kure, Executive Director, Finance and Administration, Nigerian Communications Satellite, NIGOPSAM. He said Oshoma has extensive experience in communications satellite marketing and strategic business development, while Kure is a seasoned finance professional in financial management and corporate governance. Gelali said the President expects the newly appointed officers to bring the wealth of experience and expertise to bear in driving the strategic vision for the institutions they were appointed in. The federal government has inaugurated a joint steering committee on the National Housing Data Center to develop and implement a blueprint to ensure transparency and ease of access to housing data in Nigeria. Ahmed Dangiwa, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, on Tuesday at the inauguration in Abuja, said the center will be essential for policy and decision-making towards affordable housing and the well-being of Nigerians.
We all know where we stand as a country in terms of meeting the housing needs of Nigerians. And we are far from where we should be in unleashing the potential of the sector as an enabler of economic growth. While there are many issues in the sector that need to be fixed, the lack of credible scientific and verifiable data on the state of housing in our country stand out as the most pressing and embarrassing. This is because without data we cannot know the magnitude of the problem we are doing, how much resources we need to allocate, for how long, which areas to focus, which markets to prioritize, and a whole host of other considerations. In fact, we'll be flying blindly. This is not sustainable. So for instance, we know we have a housing deficit and that we face the dual challenge of inadequate housing supply to meet the needs of the population, coupled with essential substandard housing that does not meet the conditions of habitability, safety, security, comfort, sanitation, accessibility, infrastructure, social amenities, and even socio-cultural adequacy as set out by the UN and the World Health Organizations.
Ahmed, however, said that there was no industry-accepted data to illustrate and guide the government, housing agencies, and financial institutions, both local and international, in planning and outlining strategies to fix Nigeria's housing problem.
Do all we can to deliver to the best of our ability and to put forward something that will be credible, reliable, and that people can use to make informed decisions. Your comments on the terms of reference are clear.
What we have had over decades are speculations and estimates. As a ministry, we consider it a national emergency for the housing sector, and as a government, we cannot allow it to continue. And as you quite well know, that under the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR for housing and urban development, fixing Nigeria housing data problem is a top priority. And as the lead driver of Mr. President's vision in the sector, we are committed to working with all stakeholders to tackle this problem. It is against this background, and I'm excited that today we are gathered here to integrate a joint steering committee on national housing data. The committee has been established as a key strategic partner among key stakeholders in Nigeria's housing market with the mandate to develop and implement a blueprint for ensuring transparency and essential and ease of access to housing data in Nigeria, which will be essential for policy and decision making towards affordable housing and well-being of Nigerians. What we have
Membership of a committee included representatives from the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development to serve as a chair, National Population Commission, National Bureau of Statistics, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, and Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, amongst others. Mr. Kehinde Ogundimu, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, NMRC, pledged the commitment of the committee to delivering on the mandate.
And the Honorable Minister, we are showing that we will do all we can to deliver to the best of our ability and to put forward something that will be credible, reliable, and that people can use to make informed decisions. Your comments on the terms of reference are clear. We'll narrow them down to make sure that it's very clear. And I'm also happy to report that in my interactions with the Population Commission, they have most of this data. The number of houses in Nigeria is about 66 million. The habitable one is maybe 40 something. The data is here. So I think you now bringing all of us together will help us just to bring this to the fore quickly and get data that is reliable. So the comments on the terms of reference is noted, sir. We'll look at it. And the timeline, as you rightly noted, sir, even though we said 12 months, all these things can overlap, we can run them concurrently. So we'll try also shorten the timeline for the deliverable. Honorable Minister, we assure you that as a committee we'll work towards making this assignment realized on time. In the meantime, We, in case there will be the national data center, if there are any interim measures that are needed, maybe a temporary data portal or something, NMRC can provide that while we are providing the one that will be substantive and robust for the entire nation.
The federal government has inaugurated a 10-member committee to enforce the recent Supreme Court ruling that granted financial autonomy to local governments in Nigeria. On July 11, the Apex Court declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold onto funds meant for local government administrations. 5 weeks on, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Senator George Akume, set up the Inter-Ministerial Committee to implement the verdict. The Director of Information and Public Relations in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Segun Imoyose, said Akume would chair the committee. In his judgment, Justice Emmanuel Agim said the Attorney General of the Federation has the right to institute the suit and protect the Constitution. The Apex Court, consequently, directed that local government allocations from a Federation account should be paid directly to them henceforth and not to state government coffers. Justice again pointed out that the state governor's retention of monies meant for local governments truncates the latest activities and ordered the immediate compliance of the judgment, stating that no state government should be paid monies meant for local governments. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for strengthened cooperation between Nigeria and Tanzania in shared aspirations for continental growth and unity. Shettima made a call on Tuesday when he received former Tanzanian President Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete at the presidential villa, Abuja, explaining that the call became necessary since Nigeria shares historic ties with Tanzania, particularly in their roles as frontline states in the fight against apartheid and colonialism. Shettima, while praising Tanzania's leadership legacy, said Tanzania was one of Africa's success stories. The Vice President said it is important to foster stronger economic and social ties between the two nations, especially within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. He also praised the Tanzanian government's support for Nigerian businesses in Tanzania, citing companies like United Bank for Africa, Guaranty Trust Bank, Dangote, among many others. Earlier, former President Kikwete, who was in Nigeria for the convocation ceremony of the National Defense College, expressed the readiness of that country to strengthen business and diplomatic ties with Nigeria. Kikwete acknowledged the role of Nigerian National Defense College in training Tanzanian military personnel, expressing optimism for deeper ties in defense, trade, and diplomacy. Both leaders stressed the importance of revisiting outdated agreements and scaling up bilateral relations in the spirit of African solidarity. Governor Caleb Muftwang of Plateau has suspended 2 incumbent commissioners, a special advisor and a liaison officer. Muftwang announced the suspension in a statement by Gang Bere, his Director of Press and Public Affairs, issued on Tuesday in Jos. Suspended government officials included Christanus Dawam and Jamil Tuko, commissioners for budget and economic planning, and that of tourism, culture, and hospitality. Others affected by the suspension were Dio Lamour, special advisor in rural development, and Moses Sule, the liaison officer for Mikan constituency of the state. Bere said that the suspension took immediate effect. Acting Governor for your state, Bayo Lawal, says Governor Seyi Makinde's administration is prepared to strengthen and promote the culture and tourism sector to achieve his vision of diversifying the state's economy. Lawal stated this at the closing ceremony of the 2024 World Shango Festival held at the Festival Arena at Fionyo. He noted that the designation of the festival as a UNESCO heritage was a great achievement for the state. Lawal further said the festival was also important because of its potential to generate revenue for the state. Minister for Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Anato Musawa, at the event affirmed that President Tinubu's administration remained committed to safeguarding and promoting Nigeria's cultural heritage. In his goodwill message, the representative of the diplomatic community, His Excellency Ambassador of Portugal, Paulo Santos, reiterated the impact of the festival as it gained global recognition, assuring of more support through diplomatic communities. Earlier, in his welcome address, the Oyo State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Alatubosun, described the 2024 World Shango Festival as a first of its kind. Also in our remarks, the cultural ambassador to the Alaafin of Oyo, Dr. Paula Gomez, thanked the Oyo State government, the people of Oyo, and the entire Oyo traditional religion adherents for upholding and preserving the cultural heritage.
Today's event is to mark World Shango Day. And as we know, particularly we Yoruba, that Shango is and was one of our leading and spiritual heads. And what we are doing today is encapsulation of culture and tourism. And what is the benefit of this event? It adds more to revenue generation. It adds more to our environment, and it tells us about our history and culture. I'm happy that UNESCO has recognized Shango as one of our heritages that must be observed internationally. If UNESCO has recognized Shango, of course, Oyo State will lend stronger support to that recognition, and whatever is required or needed to lead this culture higher and higher. Oyo State government, under his leadership, the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, is ever prepared to lend such support. Today's event is to mark World.
In line with our renewed hope agenda, let me reaffirm this administration's commitment to safeguarding and promoting Nigeria's cultural heritage. We are determined to support initiatives that protect our traditions, encourage cultural expressions, and harness the power of our heritage for the benefit of all Nigerians. This recognition by UNESCO is not just a milestone for Oyo State, the Yoruba people, and the Kingdom of Oyo, but a victory for the entire nation of Nigeria, and I think for the Black global community. It affirms my ministry's commitment to the global significance of our rich traditions, our stories, our values, our way of life, our ideals, our traditions. This tells the world that the Shango Festival is not just an event, but a living testament to the vibrancy and resilience of our culture.
So once again, congratulations for organizing this beautiful festival, and I can assure you that I will be reporting back to the diplomatic community in Abuja of how relevant and how important and how beautiful a festival this is, to make sure that next year we'll have even a bigger contingent of colleagues here. Thank you again.
It is very important to note that ENUGU was introduced to this year's celebration through a symposium to honor a theater icon, late Toladipo, to remember his impact through his work, Oba Koso. That was staged around the world to show the mystical, invisible power of Shango through the energy of thunder.
After a long period of hard work and relentless efforts in recognizing the heritage with the approval Nigeria and the encouragement of your community and your state government, which kept the ball rolling before the final approval. After a long
Producing Areas Development Commission has called for collaborative efforts to mitigate the effects of perennial flooding in the state. The member, representing Ika ethnic nationality on the board of Desopadek, Cordelia ENUGU, made the call when she visited the chairman of Ika South local government, Jerry Eriwario, on Tuesday in Abo. ENUGU and our team were in Abo for the inspection of the ongoing projects by Desopadek in the area. She described the indiscriminate dumping of refuse into drainages by residents, which had led to blocked drains. ENUGU emphasized that it was a collective responsibility of the council and Desopadek to sensitize the people on proper waste disposal to prevent flooding in the area. Responding, the council chairman, Jerry Eriwario, thanked Desopadek for their intervention in the state, particularly in Ika Axis, stating that some residents had contributed to the uncleanliness in some parts of the local government area. He assured the commission that the council had put measures in place to deal with those who litter the environment with waste. Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno has distributed grains received from the federal government to 10,000 households in Mafa local government area of Borno. Zulum also disbursed the state government's cash support of 150 million naira to 15,000 women to complement the federal government's efforts. Speaking at a ceremony in Mafa town on Tuesday, Zulum said the grains were the last batch of the 20 trucks from the federal government. He expressed gratitude to the present administration under President Bola Tinubu for the support, by calling for support and understanding from the citizens. This, according to him, would enable government at all levels implement more policies and programs that will alleviate the suffering of the generality of the people. The Nigerian equity market on Tuesday recovered from a previous session's decline, recording a 66 billion naira gain. Investors' interest in leading stocks such as Seplat, Oando, and Sambik IBTC contributed to the market's upward trajectory. Notably, the market capitalization, which opened at 54.382 trillion naira, added 65 billion or 0.12% to close at 54.448 trillion naira. The all-share index also rose by 0.12% or 104.24 to settle at 95,895.92 in contrast to 95,781.68 recorded on Monday. As a result, the year-to-date return rose to 28.25%. However, market breadth closed negative with 24 losers and 19 gainers. Analysis of the market activities show trade turnover settled higher than the previous session, with a value of transaction up by 0.50%. Up ahead, Barack Obama rouses crowd for Harris at Democratic National Convention. Romanian police raid home of Andrew Tate amid human trafficking probe. Stay with us. People are confused. They're confused. I don't read this thing finish. Wait, read up ahead and see the show business. Members of India's LGBT community joined demands of safety and justice on Tuesday evening, in solidarity with doctors across the country continuing to protest following the rape and murder of a trainee doctor. Anurag Maitreya, a transgender civil rights activist, said the civil citizens of the country are feeling unprotected and insecure as large fire torches were being carried in a march in the eastern city of Kolkata, where the attack on August 9 occurred.
Analysis एक final conclusion नहीं है हमारे पास, so Chief Justice of India है D.Y. Chandrachud, he has made a 10-member committee जो कि देखेंगे specifically analyze करेंगे कि healthcare professionals के अंदर किस किस चीज़ की उनको ज़रूरत है security के लिए और उस हिसाब से उनको improvise करेंगे and maybe they will come up with a new law which would act as a deterrent जो कि हमारी first demand थी from day one. So we are just still क्योंकि अभी तक law नहीं आई, अभी तक we don't have a final एनालिसिस एक फाइनल कंक्लूजन नहीं है हमारे पास, सो हम तब तक करते रहेंगे जब तक हमें हमारी नीड्स जो हैं जो हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं गवर्नमेंट से वो पूरी ना हो जाए.
Demands for justice for the victim and greater safety for women at hospitals have since swept the nation, with doctors in several places refusing to see non-emergency patients. India's Supreme Court created a hospital safety task force on Tuesday to recommend steps to ensure medical workers' safety. However, Dr. Ashmit Singh, a protester, said during a candlelight vigil on Tuesday evening that they are still here because the law is not here yet and there is no conclusion. Former U.S. President Barack Obama took aim at Republican Donald Trump at the Democratic National Convention on Tuesday night, urging Americans to back Kamala Harris in her 11th hour presidential bid against Trump. America's first black president, Obama, has thrown his considerable political capital behind Harris as she seeks to make history herself on November 5 as the first woman and first black and South Asian person to be elected U.S. president.
We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse. America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a president, Kamala Harris. He knows who he is, and he knows what's important. You can tell those flannel shirts he wears don't come from some political consultant. They come from his closet, and they have been through some stuff. They have been through some stuff. That's right. We shouldn't be the world's policemen, and we can't eradicate every cruelty and injustice in the world. But America can be and must be a force for good. Discouraging conflict, fighting disease, promoting human rights, protecting the planet from climate change, defending freedom, brokering peace. That's what Kamala Harris believes, and so do most Americans. If we work like we've never worked before, if we hold firm to our convictions, we will elect Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States, and Tim Walz as the next Vice President of the United States. We will elect leaders up and down the ballot who will fight for the hopeful, forward-looking America we all believe in, and together we too will build a country that is more secure and more just. We do not need...
He took aim at Trump, the Republican who followed him into the White House in 2017, and praised President Joe Biden, his vice president, who was forced out of the 2024 race by Democratic allies who feared he would lose to Trump in November. At 63, Barack Obama loomed large in messy deliberations that led Biden to step out of the race last month and endorsed Harris as vice president. Smoke rose into the skies of southern Lebanon on Wednesday as rockets were fired towards Israel. Cross-border hostilities between Hezbollah and Israeli forces have been continuing since Hezbollah announced a support front with Palestinians shortly after its ally, Hamas, attacked southern Israeli border communities on October 7, triggering Israel's military offensive in Gaza. Romanian police raided the home of internet personality Andrew Tate on Wednesday as part of a new investigation into crimes including human trafficking and money laundering. A self-described misogynist, Tate has gained millions of fans by promoting an ultra-masculine lifestyle that critics say denigrates women. He was indicted in mid-2023 along with his brother Tristan and two Romanian female suspects for human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. These allegations they denied. Romania's Directorate for the Investigation of Organized Crime and Terrorism said on Wednesday that it had conducted 4 home search warrants within Ilfov County and the Bucharest municipality. It said the investigation concerned a criminal case regarding the commission of crimes of setting up an organized criminal group, trafficking of minors, human trafficking, sexual intercourse with a minor, influencing statements, and money laundering. In July, a Romanian Court of Appeal overturned the previous ruling which allowed Tate free movement within the European Union while awaiting trial on charges of human trafficking. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin met Chinese Premier Li Qiang in Moscow on Wednesday. Mishustin and Li are expected to discuss bilateral relations and exchange views on cooperation between the two countries. Li is expected to meet President Vladimir Putin for talks at Kremlin later on Wednesday. Chinese Premier arrived in Moscow on August 20 on a 3-day visit and is set to travel to Belarus on August 23. The Argentine government authorities has quarantined a cargo ship in the Paraná River over a suspected case of monkeypox on board, as global public health authorities remain on alert for a new, faster-spreading variant of the virus. According to the Health Ministry, an industry body, the Argentine Naval League, the quarantined Liberian flagship was sailing into Santos, Brazil, also a major commodities hub, to pick up soy cargo. The ship near Argentina's inland grains port of Sarero alerted authorities that one of its crew members of Indian nationality showed signs like skin lesions, predominantly on the chest and face. The ministry said in a statement that the person had been isolated from the rest of the crew. Some 13 countries have reported monkeypox cases caused by other strains across America this year, according to the WHO data. As of last week, Argentina has previously recorded 8 cases, though none was a clade 1B strain. And that's the news of this hour. Thank you for watching. Barry Kumo Ada was my name.
We should also ask, do we have productive civil servants who go to work, who earn the salary, even the little they are being paid? The government needs to look at, if we must fight corruption, and very seriously, apart from looking at the wages being paid to them, which is meager, which if you look at the per capita income of Nigeria, is nothing to write home about, which is meager. And everybody does whatever he or she wants to do in order to keep body and souls together. That has created a leeway for corruption. Just like we talk about the remuneration of judicial officers, for instance. A judicial officer is not being well remunerated. That's the same judicial officer that is being called upon to decide issues involving trillions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of pound sterling. And his salary is not even up to $1,000. And then you are saying that such a judge, if not well trained in character, learning and comportment, and one who abhors corruption, certainly will give a corrupt judgment in favor of the highest bidder. And so, going back to the civil servant, I agree their remuneration should be upped. But when you up the remunerations of public officers, we should also see that you don't recruit 5 persons to do a job that 1 person can do. And then we, in another advanced country where we copy this civil service of a thing from, you don't use your hour for work for private conversation, or for truancy, or for moving from one place to the other, selling your coke, mineral, and your money to people in the offices. But in Nigerian offices today, you will see that civil servants they move from office to office, even in their offices, instead of paying attention, paying detailed attention to documents and other things, in the interest of Nigerian people, they have more interest in their businesses than the work. So we must look at the remuneration, must look at the people who are recruiting into public offices, because in those days, civil servants were not politicians. They were political. But we now began to talk about so many things in Nigeria called freedom. We then have authorities that even as a civil servant, you can belong to a political party. And so the neutrality expected of a civil servant is going down in geometrical proportion, because civil servants now switch allegiance to political parties that comes to power, even when that political party and politicians are doing wrong things. In other crime, where we have institution, I always give this example of Donald Trump. If America did not have a strong democratic institution, strong military institution, strong electoral body, Donald Trump would have still remained a president of America. Will the situation in United States of America ever happen in Nigeria, where the Independent Electoral Commission will look at the face of the governor, will look at the face of the ministers, look at the face of Mr. President, and say this election is not free and fair. I had always advocated that INEC that is to be assisted, that are being assisted in most litigations in court by losers of election, always team up with those who fraudulently impose themselves on the in power to defend the fraudulent activities of those politicians. So I have always not regarded INEC as independent. It's independent in name, but when it comes to action, INEC, particularly in litigation, and when you know you issue a press statement that the election in that area is not free and fair, why then somersaulting it overnight to defend that election? Particularly in a democracy where you see people carrying helicopter and gun, parading in the air, scaring people, dead body littering all over the world, all over the places, and you are saying that is democracy because that election cannot be said to be free, fair, and credible. You have intimidated people, and it includes undue influence to force yourself on the Nigerian people. It again boils down to our personal character and attitude. How many of us are really ready to defend our principle in the face of money?
You're on to E-Vibes, the entertainment show on Signature TV, and I'm your host, Laomi Ademi, and I have with me the beautiful...
I'm your baby girl, Queenette Nwokunta.
Yeah, and today we have amazing, entertaining news for you. Yeah, so many things have been going on, you know, since yesterday till today. So we're going to gist you about it. On our first story, popular Nigerian singer and recorder producer Tekno has denied the reports that he collapsed while performing on stage. On Tuesday, reports claimed that Tekno, who is currently on his music tour, collapsed during a live performance in South Africa. In a viral video on the internet, some able-bodied men were seen carrying a singer who collapsed. This led to some social media outlets and some media outlets as well to spread the false information that Tekno was involved in a health crisis. Mr. Easy, who is a close friend to Tekno, wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, that Tekno is actually in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, not South Africa. This update provided relief to concerned fans. Finally, reacting on his Instagram page, Tekno said he is hale and hearty, and he also added that he is not in South Africa. Yeah, I can't believe that somebody can just be in their own house, like staying.
And rumors will just start It's absurd,
I think that's just the celebrity life, Sha. Like,
so just get whatever he Why would they even say he collapsed? Are you wishing him to collapse?
And I'm sure you guys saw the video. It doesn't look like Tekno. Is it because Tekno is slim now?
The truth is this. I actually heard that the person that collapsed is rapper Prezzo. And it happened in Kenya. So there's no resemblance.
Not South Africa.
Do you get? So there's no resemblance of Kenya and South Africa. So, and it's not like the guy looks like Tekno.
Wow. So some people are just trying to create
one story like that, one stunt like that, and boom.
Oh, wow. Wow. Hey, we are so happy that Tekno is fine.
And
like,
his
regardless,
friend, Mr. Easy, came up and told them that, bro, this guy is in South Africa.
That tweet from Mr. Easy just like really calmed everything down. That, okay, no, it's fine.
Who is even the person that came up with this story?
I don't know.
They should look for that person because it's a false alarm, I mean.
Yes, got a lot of fans worried. Techno, we are happy that you are good. And the picture that he posted on his IG showed
At least he came early to like take everything down and
yes,
you know,
which we are really happy for. Yeah.
All right. So our next story today, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck tied the knot in July 2022, which we all know, and the actress filed for a divorce in August 2024. Lopez filed for dissolution of their 2-year marriage in Los Angeles on August 20th, 2024. Sources said that Lopez listed April 26, 2024 as the date of separation in her petition. Though she did not specify any prenuptial agreement, the date that the divorce was filed coincided with the anniversary of their Georgia set wedding ceremony in 2022. After they first eloped in Las Vegas, the divorce filing confirms long-lasting rumor of trouble between the couple. Reports of their separation became public when it was revealed they had been living apart. Lopez had cancelled their tour and they had put their home up for sale. Lopez and Affleck first met in 2002 on the set of their movie Giggle, which was released the following year. At the time, Lopez was married to her second husband, Chris Jude. After divorcing Jude in 2003, Lopez and Affleck's relationship became public. Both of them had previously been married to Janine Noir from 1997 to 1998 and to Chris Jude from 2001 to 2003. She had singer Mark Anthony wed in 2004. Now, wow. And were married for a decade. She had 14-year-old twins. She then started dating former baseball player Alex Rodriguez in 2017. But the couple called off their engagement in 2021.
Oh my goodness.
Now, wow.
this, don't tell me this is the life of a celebrity.
I don't
know. From one marriage to another.
Another.
And they looked so happy together. So, what could have happened? Like, people were saying that, okay, they were divorced, like, I'm sorry, they were separated before the final divorce, that they were separated, that she even sold their house and everything. But I'm wondering, like, 2 years.
The fifth.
2 years, just 2 years.
Of marriage. And this is the fifth husband. Madam, I think we should check up on you. Is everything okay at home?
It's
because I don't get it. Why jumping from one marriage to the other?
I don't really understand it. I think these days people just
do whatever they like.
Exactly,
go into marriage and I thought this.
I love you. Let's get
till
married.
Death do us part.
Every man with his own opinion. Every man with his own food, what he likes.
Honestly, I don't know, but it doesn't speak well. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of us are looking up to Jennifer Lopez. Although there are reasons to divorce.
Yes.
But then again.
Yeah.
Baby, it's the fifth man. I mean,
who knows what will happen next in the story?
Let's Did you get? Maybe next day we'll hear that she's married.
Let's keep watching. Let me watch it. Who knows what will happen next? You know the stories. No one could stand up to twins, so I did. Ruthie of Bibi Nigeria, Ruth Ekpan of the Flourish pair, who was evicted on Sunday, August 18, 2024. Has revealed that during her stay in the house, the twins, Wani and Handy, were never challenged, so she had to stand up to them. In an interview with Pulse Nigeria, Ruth described the house as being populated by fake people and pointed out that Wani and Handy were major instigators in the conflict she had. Ruthie also maintained that most of what she said during the fight was true. The twin pair and Ruthie were notorious for heated conflicts in the house. This was evident in Wani and Handy's unusual farewell message. Ruthie said that she had anticipated such behavior and criticized them as classless.
Ouch.
Wow. She also said that contrary to what people may think, she had been very mindful of how her actions would impact her partner's stay in the house. And that she should have considered her partner. Well, she said in the interview that she does consider her partner, and she looked at the actions, but at the same time,
yeah, I told you before that they are pairs. If one person misbehaves, the both of them leaves the house.
Now why they say no lose guard.
Exactly.
No lose guard.
Exactly. For me, Wanya and Handy are vibes in the house. All right.
Okay.
I enjoy their vibes. I enjoy their chills. And one of the housemates said they're rude because now she's coming up to say most people cannot stand up to them. Stand up to them as what? I don't understand. Are they God that you cannot tell them, oh please, this thing you're doing, I really don't like it. Do you get?
Who knows? We're not in the house, so we don't know what she was feeling. So in such a situation, you feel like everyone's point is valid, like everyone's opinion is valid.
I really don't. I didn't watch the beginning of the fight though. I don't know what must have caused that big misunderstanding.
I am the opinion that to some extent, like if we look at things normally, the way conflicts happen, they can't just have no say in it. Like, I mean, Wani and Handy, they can't just have no fault. I mean, no fault in it. There has to be, she can't just come out there and just be shouting that, okay, these twins, and with the fact that they've been having fights in the house. So I feel like there has to be something there. There has to be something.
And for the fact that she knows them from Adams, even before they came to the house. All right, up to the next story. Selena Gomez has sparked fresh speculation about her engagement to Benny Blanco by following a wedding planning agency on social media. See, we are blushing because he's wedding. Okay, amid ongoing rumors that Benny has proposed, Selena recently started following CMG weddings and events on TikTok. One of Selena's fans noticed the only mothers in the building star was following the whole story at CMG earlier this week. And now there's a whole bunch of TikTok clips speculating Selena and BB are engaged. Rumors have been swirling for weeks now, ever since Selena posted a mirror selfie with Benny covering up her ring finger with a pink heart emoji. Why, baby? With only 73 accounts followed on TikTok and a substantial 58.2 million followers, Selena's decision to follow CMG weddings and events stands out as intriguing.
Yeah.
Whether or not there's an engagement in the works, it's clear that Selena is thinking about wedding. Why not? Why did you even cover the ring? Why did you cover it?
I think it's just to give us a bit of suspense.
Yes.
Suspense. Because like for me, it's the fan that found out for me.
Not
you can't spy. No, like how are you able to take out time to know the person she's following? Even though if you look at it, it's just 17 followers, but still, how did you know?
So you opened and you were scrolling like. But it's a cute thing. I mean, it's a cute thing that there's a wedding bell ringing, and she has it in her heart that
when it finally happens, I feel like we'd see it, we'd know. When it happens, we'd see, we'd know. You understand? Like such a wedding cannot pass us by now.
We can't wait. Bring it on.
Yes, bring it on. So, and that's all the news for today. Stay tuned. We still have wonderful things for you. Yeah, mind-blowing things. We have an interview coming up, and trust me, you will enjoy it. So stay tuned. Let's go on a break.
Entertainment show on Signature TV.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So you graduated as a human physiology student.
Yeah, medical.
I want to believe that it's a combination of Afrobeats and soul.
Yeah, something
so
like that.
tell us how you blend both, like Afrobeats as itself and soul music, blend them together to give us Afro soul.
In the sense that, you know, when you sing from your heart, yeah, it's more like saying something emotional. You sing music based on what you're feeling at that point in time. You feel me? So most artists will just go into the studio and, you know, just vibe. You get that kind of thing. Just vibe. But personally, I make music based on what I'm feeling at that point in time.
Okay.
You get based on. So if based on I'm a Nigerian, definitely we based on Afro music. We own Afro music.
Yeah.
You get. So but when I put in my emotions, I don't make it so fast. I make it a calm music. So when you listen to it, you can feel what I felt at that point in time when recording the song.
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with Afro Soul.
So that means Afro soul has to do with the emotional aspect.
Yes.
It's both the sad part,
and
the love
happy
part.
parts, yeah.
Yeah.
The love part, exactly. The love
Emphasis
part.
on the love part.
Emphasis on the love part. The love will show you shaggy, actually. Love will deal with you, but at the same time, you just have to learn from it and move on. Don't let it change who you are. Just keep pushing.
I'm sure so many people are wondering what this Afro soul sounds like. So we have a clip from Orlando's songs, and you know what it does is music career and all. So let's watch the clip. It seems like the clip is not yet ready. Okay.
Okay, it's ready.
Orlando. Come make I show you how much I care. Oh no no no. I'm on your mind waiting then talk. And if you give them chance, they go want to tear us apart. Oh no no no. Give me that thing that go make me go low. You don't drive me, oh no. And when it's up now you call I go follow. Give me that thing that go make me go low. You don't drive me, oh no. And when it's up now you call I go follow. Carry your matter from my head, oh. And when he tell me, I'ma to God me, I go rest, oh no. Carry your matter from my head, oh.
So this particular music now, because it's inside the studio, right?
Yeah.
Was it done after you recorded?
Yeah. That particular clip was like a direct record from like the raw, unedited parts of the song. That was that particular clip right there.
So what is it about?
Yes,
this your kind of music?
You mean?
Because people need to, you know, when I mention Afro soul music, it sounds too show, no jokes. But like they're like, what do you mean by Afro soul? What actually makes it significant as it is?
Let's say, for example, the artist Brimo, he makes use of, or he's also into Afro soul. If you listen to most of his music, it's calm.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah,
so I just feel like that's why it's being called Afro soul, because of the calmness it brings while listening to it. While listening to Afro soul, you don't want to dance. You just want to listen
nodding
to
your head.
Yes, you just want to vibe and be like, this guy is making sense in these lyrics. Like,
it's true. It's not every time you want to best. Yeah, sometimes you want to just, you know, calm vibes.
Chills.
That kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of thing. The song actually was inspired by a breakup.
Why are you running faster than your shadow? I wanted to ask you what inspired you.
Yeah, it was inspired by a breakup, actually.
What's the title of that? The clip you watch? What's the title?
The title of the song is actually Matter.
matter.
Yeah.
That has mass and occupies space.
Yeah, she occupied the space for a while, but then she left.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
So, this comment you just made is leading me to the question I actually want to ask you, which is, what inspires your music? Like, what would you say it's your, like, gives you inspiration? Yes, like when you want to create music.
Personally, as I said earlier on, I said, whenever I want to create music, it depends on what I'm feeling at that point in time. You get? So if I'm feeling down and I walk into the studio, definitely I would want to sing about what I'm feeling at that point in time. Like if I'm going through stuffs, I sing about through those stuffs I'm going through. You get? I just try to pass a message, because definitely there are people out there that are feeling the same way I'm feeling at that point in time.
So you're saying most of your songs are based on your experiences and emotions?
Yeah, most of them. But I actually have an unreleased song that I would say is not based on emotion. It's based on a party vibe, because I was featured with an artist that deals with, you know, something like that. So I just have to blend in with it. So, but it's yet to be released, so I can't really disclose it yet.
How were you able to blend your Afro soul and that one? The one you featured in is Afro beat, right? Afro pop.
Yeah, it's a pure Afrobeat song.
And you know, Afro soul is calm.
Yes.
Your genre of music.
Yeah.
How were you able to blend in?
Now I said I have to adapt to the fact that okay, I'm seeing myself in a kind of situation where if I should bring in Afro soul, I'll kill the vibe of the music and people won't like it. But in order to do that, in order not to kill the vibe of the music, I had to bring up a relatable matter, as I said, and, you know, put it in that music and make it more vibeable and relatable. Something that people do, because it was more like a club vibe kind of song. And I know that a lot of people do a lot of things in the club. So I have to just bring up something that is relatable in the club and put it in that song. Yeah, based on I was featured, so I don't have to like kill the vibe of the person in order to maintain my own kind of music. I just had to adapt to this kind of song.
This thing you're saying now about having to adapt with a different style, it really made me think about the fact that, okay, you create music based on your emotion, how you feel. So the days you are feeling like, you know the days that you're very hyper, energetic, and everything is just like, yes, let's go, let's do this. So does it also impact in your music? Do you also see like beats in it?
Yeah. When when I go into the studio and maybe my producer will be like, I get one mad beat so I get for you, but it's kind of a party vibe. If I'm feeling the party vibe, I'll be like, oh yeah, now let's work on it.
Are you sure you will not be deviating from Afro soul?
No, okay, I think that's why it's Afro soul, right?
There's Afro there. That Afro is still there as Nigeria, so definitely you can move around it.
Okay.
I cannot move from Afro to R&B.
True.
So,
but
then if I'm Afro, so means that okay, I still have that Afro part of me, that Afro part of the beat in it. So I just have to, you know, bring out that Afro part and keep the soul for a meantime. But then when I want to do my thing, then I bring up the soul.
Who inspired you to go into Afro soul music?
You mean the artist?
Yes.
I want to know your influences.
Personally, I would say Oxlade. Have you heard his vocals? I would say Oxlade. I would say Divers.
Okay.
Divers. Those two people have been, you know, people I watch and I would be like, these people has lyrics, these people has vocals, these people have meaning. Most of their song has meaning. They don't just sing because they want to sing. They sing because it's their passion. You get? So those are the people that have inspired me so far in my music journey. Yeah.
Okay. So, and in this music journey, what challenges would you say you've faced so far, and have you been able to overcome them?
the number one challenge everybody face is capital.
I know.
It's capital. Capital is number one because most people feel like once you just record a song and that's it. No, you have to work on the promotion, and promoting song is not beans. Like it's not you. Most of these things that you say, okay, your song will just blow. Yes, your song will just blow, but at the same time, you have to have an influence of somebody that would at least help you push that music. And in order to do that, you have to pay them because most people don't do free these days.
Who does free?
So capital is more like the number one. And how do we like cope? We just say God grace is something you really want to do. So you have to like, even if it's your last card, you gotta just put them for there, maybe push them because you don't know how lucky you can get. You know, maybe one top artist will just sit and repost it, and there you go, you are blown with time. You get, so that's it.
Have you faced any critics in any of your music at all? Maybe you sang one song now, maybe you were down, depressed.
So
went to the studio.
So far, I haven't faced any critics. Aside from my friends teasing me, you get. They'll be like, guy, you too dey love, calm down. Not the love. Love is not good for the health.
So that means all your song is now heartbreak.
Not really heartbreak, but just based on love.
Love.
Yeah, just based on love. Not really heartbreak. Most of my covers I prefer doing covers of love song. It's just my kind of thing. You get. You can call me a lover boy.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
You can call me a lover boy. So that's just it. So far, nothing aside from that. Nothing aside because I've not really dropped most of my songs. I just released only one. The rest are yet to be released.
The one is That Matter, right?
Yeah, The Matter you just heard. That's the only single I've dropped so far.
This year?
Yeah, last year. That was last year. That song was dropped November 2023. Yeah. So
have you had any live performance so far, like at events?
Yeah.
Talk us through that experience.
The experience was actually tense at first. My first performance was after I graduated from my school. Yeah. So nobody knew I made music, but they knew I sing. They know I sing. But they never had this idea that, okay, you have actually recorded a song. Yeah. So when I posted and people saw it and they were like, guy, you did sing? They were surprised. So a party came up and they called me and was like, Alpha Orlando, I go like when you perform. I accepted because it was at least a step forward for my music career. But when I climbed that stage at first, the
anxiety.
Looking at everybody expecting you to deliver. But based on I've been into the music world not only by performing but normal playing of instruments, going for our normal church shows and everything. So I overcame the anxiety quite easily. And then I performed and surprisingly they loved it and everybody was cheering up. I was like, so now like this they feel to be
love matter. People go oblige now.
It was actually fun. It was actually fun performing for the first time. But since then I've had other shows in schools such as Ibariam, Oka. I was to perform in a show in ENUGU here, but one thing happened and I didn't perform, but that's fine.
So can you talk us through your upcoming project? Because I know you have so many songs that you have not released.
Yeah, my upcoming project is kind of personal. The whole song is based on my personal life experience. Not really love. My personal life experience, including love, including how hard things become and how I grew up and everything. That's my next project. So it's taking a lot of time because you don't just say life at once. You take time and one step at a time producing something, and it's actually magical. My producer is actually working. My producer I'm talking about is actually my elder brother. So, so he's known as Orlando Keys, and he's really good at what he does. So he takes his time. He even advised me on how to put in some certain lyrics and everything. When you work with a producer that don't give you insights on how to work, you find it difficult
to work with them.
Yes, but he's the kind of person that would give you insights, tell you, okay, if you do it this way, it will be more better than when you do it this way. So the project is, I would say, is 20% ready. We still have 80% to go.
Okay, you just started.
Yes, yes, it's 20% ready. We still have 80% to go, but it's going to be fire. I hope so, boys. With what I've done so far, I just feel it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
Say that's massive, baby.
Have you ever seen yourself, pictured yourself singing with Oxlade?
I've pictured myself in O2 Arena.
Wow.
So, you know, that moment where you're alone and you just play one song and you hold your remote in
looking
your
at
hands.
the remote.
When you close your eyes, like, the moment I close my eyes, I just see myself in O2 Arena singing and everybody's just screaming. Yeah, I've actually pictured myself with a lot of artists, Oxlade, Denver's, Davido, and I've actually imagined. But I hope imagination comes to pass. Yeah, we hard work though. It will. I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
That's true.
So we have some games that we would love to play with you.
I swear.
So don't worry, they are not difficult.
It's very
games.
simple.
Simple things.
Okay. Hit me.
Okay, so I'll be starting with videos. Yes, I'll be starting with videos.
I go fail, no worry.
Why you
have some faith. Have some faith in the Afro soul spirit.
Afro soul no reach for where we do. Hit me.
Okay, so what has to be broken before you can use it?
What have to be broken
Before
you can use it? Nothing is coming to my head right now. I would say the heart have to be broken before you can use it. Yes, heart.
So how would you now use the heart?
If they break your heart, now that time you could find different superpowers where you get, where you know say you get them. Yes, now.
So revenge.
He has spoken like an Afro soul artist.
Think about it.
You're wrong though, you know ba.
So tell me, what's the answer?
Egg.
Sharp. Sharp.
Okay, let me ask you another one. What has teeth but can't bite?
Wow. What has teeth and can't bite? A mosquito no get it. Mosquito they bite now. I don't know. I'm not really good at riddles.
Take a quick guess.
What?
Maybe you should give me hints.
No.
Fish. Fish.
No, like you feel lamb.
But fish get it and you know they bite now.
You don't put your hand inside your mouth.
Yes, now don't put and you know they bite.
And it was alive. And it was alive.
Now that one.
The answer is comb.
Is that a teeth?
Yes.
It has teeth now. Like
that's not teeth now. Comb no get it.
It doesn't get it. You won't justify your failure.
Okay.
Since he's finding it so hard with the videos, let's give him social media abbreviations. You might be able to get that one right.
Let's try.
Let's
try.
Okay, TBA.
TBA. TBA.
Yes.
TBH.
TBA. A. Letter A. Apple.
Yeah. I don't know that one. I know that TBH. I know.
What's TBH?
To be honest.
That is very simple.
So what's TBA?
To be announced.
To be announced. Who makes use of TBA? Who they make use of TBA?
Then they use that one.
I've not heard that one before.
Okay, let me give you another one. DIY.
DIY. DIY.
Yes, very simple something.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one, people they use them.
They never use them for me.
But then
they use them, but they never use them for me. DIY. Do your information.
How?
I don't say DIY. I say DIY.
Okay, DIY.
Yes.
I don't know.
God, this guy. Do it yourself.
So when you see DIY videos, what do you think?
Did they still have DIY video?
Wow.
The fact you actually answered the question.
I'm not more of a social media person.
Really?
Aside from just posting my content and, you know.
You don't scroll through
it didn't look
Twitter.
like it. It didn't look like
no,
it.
I don't scroll through
Scrolling
Twitter.
through that
It's
page,
more
I saw a lot of pictures, a lot of
Twitter,
videos.
I'm sorry, it's more of TikTok.
But they do.
They know it's POV 90 days for TikTok.
What's POV?
What's
Point
POV?
of view.
Okay, what is JSYK?
Just so you know.
Okay, what about TTYL?
TTYL. Today you go love. Till today you go.
This guy like love.
He like love, Sha.
I don't know that one.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
So babe never used TTYL for you.
If you use I go block you at J. Why would you want to stress me?
Wow.
Oh Jesus Christ. Okay, let me give you spell these words backward.
Okay.
You be medical student. You sabi,
Yes, now you sabi spelling for medical.
You supposed to be a
but
normal.
now they cram heavy words, big words.
No, we know they
yeah.
cram. It's not it's by. I must not say everything.
Okay, spell the word rats backward.
Rats. T-A-R.
Rats.
Is it
plural?
rat? Okay, S-T-A-R.
Pronounce it. When you spell, you pronounce.
S-T-A-R. Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a star.
Yes.
You know these things.
Okay, spell life backward.
Life. E-F-I-L.
Live. Like to go live.
Okay, like to go live.
Yes.
E-V-I-L. That's evil.
Now for here where you sabi book.
They suppose they give me a call that.
Should we go back to the riddles?
No, yes. Go back to the riddles.
Remind him
Let's forget about the riddles. Let's
okay, one more word.
Okay.
Spell the word draw backward.
Like to draw something.
Yes.
Okay. That would be W-A-R-D. That's word.
Okay, you need high five this time around.
This is amazing.
I swear.
Yeah,
do you have any word for you?
No, no. I should not have any word for. She looks like somebody that will give me something difficult. Yes, I fear I'm low-key.
Okay.
Can you just share with us, like, before you leave, because time is already going.
All right.
Well, before you leave, share with us your, like, in your music journey so far. What are you most excited about?
Yeah, okay. So far, whenever I'm about to release a new song, I get excited, and at the same time, you get a little bit scared. Yeah. Why you're scared is that you don't know if it will get the audience you are expecting. You know that moment when you do something, you know that, yeah, this thing is good, like you're feeling it, like you be like, I just drop a hit. You know, get everything person want tell me. The excitement at that particular point in time when you are about to release it, and also the thought of what if it doesn't go as far as you want it. When you combine that excitement and fear, it gives you something unique. Yeah, that's what I always look forward to anytime I want to drop a project. That's excitement and fear combined together. Yeah, so that's it so far.
So it has really been wonderful having you here.
Yeah,
Busy.
we had so much fun
pleasure
with
is mine,
you.
actually.
Yes. Thank you for introducing us into the Afro Soul music.
Yeah,
I think many of us were not really like conversant with that kind of genre.
No, maybe we know, but we don't know it's actually called Afro Soul.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I would say that.
Because I love listening to Oxley, I must say.
Yeah. You're welcome. They say we learn every day. So I'm actually honored to be here. You know, your signature TV is actually very, very, very welcoming. And yeah. So
So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget that we are on every Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. So set an alarm or something. Yes, you can't miss entertaining gist like this. Yes, you can't. So stay tuned and do well to follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Stay updated with us. Stay updated and subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, I'm still yours, Laomi Ademi, and I wasn't alone. I was with
your baby girl, Queen Smokunta.
So yeah, take care of yourself. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
We should also ask, do we have productive civil servants who go to work, who earn the salary, even the little they are being paid? The government needs to look at, if we must fight corruption, and very seriously, apart from looking at the wages being paid to them, which is meager, which, if you look at the per capita income of Nigeria, is nothing to write home about, which is meager. And everybody does whatever he or she wants to do in order to keep body and souls together. That has created a leeway for corruption. Just like we talk about the remuneration of judicial officers, for instance. A judicial officer is not being well remunerated. That's the same judicial officer that is being called upon to decide issues involving trillions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of pound sterling, and his salary is not even up to $1,000. And then you are saying that such a judge, if not well trained in character, learning and comportment, and one who abhors corruption, certainly will give a corrupt judgment in favor of the highest bidder. And so, going back to the civil servant, I agree their remuneration should be upped. But when you up the remunerations of public officers, we should also see that you don't recruit 5 persons to do a job that 1 person can do. And then we, in another advanced country where we copy this civil service of a thing from, you don't use your hour for work for private conversation, or for truancy, or for moving from one place to the other, selling your coke, mineral, and your money to people in the offices. But in Nigerian offices today, you will see that civil servants they move from office to office, even in their offices, instead of paying detailed attention to documents and other things, in the interest of Nigerian people, they have more interest in their businesses than the work. So we must look at the remuneration, must look at the people who are recruiting into public offices, because in those days, civil servants were not politicians. They were political. But we now began to talk about so many things in Nigeria called freedom. We then have authorities that even as a civil servant, you can belong to a political party. And so the neutrality expected of a civil servant is going down in geometrical proportion, because civil servants now switch allegiance to political parties that comes to power, even when that political party and politicians are doing wrong things. In other crime, where we have institutions, I always give this example of Donald Trump. If America did not have a strong democratic institution, strong military institution, strong electoral body, Donald Trump would have still remained a president of America. Will the situation in United States of America ever happen in Nigeria, where the Independent Electoral Commission will look at the face of the governor, will look at the face of the ministers, look at the face of Mr. President, and say this election is not free and fair. I had always advocated that INEC that is to be assisted, that are being assisted in most litigations in court by losers of election, always team up with those who fraudulently impose themselves on the in power to defend the fraudulent activities of those politicians. So I have always not regarded INEC as independent. It's independent in name, but when it comes to action, INEC, particularly in litigation, and when you know you issue a press statement that the election in that area is not free and fair, why then some are sorting it overnight to defend that election? Particularly in a democracy where you see people carrying helicopter and gun, parading in the air, scaring people, dead body littering all over the world, all over the places, and you are saying that is democracy because that election cannot be said to be free, fair, and credible. You have intimidated people, and it includes undue influence to force yourself on the Nigerian people. It again boils down to our personal character and attitude. How many of us are really ready to defend our principle in the face of money, mouth-watering, daggling money? Even as a civil servant, they ask you to sign the documents. You are signing because you have been promised 10%. These are things we need to do, need to look at.
When we talk about insecurity, it's not just on the road, because most times we might say, oh, this student has traveled and maybe the child was kidnapped. No, now what we are talking about now is most of them, they might come to the school and abduct them. And how do we curb this insecurity? So now we want the government to come to our aid so that insecurity in Nigerian universities would stop, so that these children can be very, very okay. They can feel comfortable.
I would suggest that everybody just tries to keep themselves safe. Like, don't come out at odd hours. Because I don't know, I've not really seen any security personnel around. Personally, I've not seen, because I have not been out so late. So personally, I try to protect myself first, and I don't put myself in certain scenarios and situations. So I think the best thing is to be at the right place at the right time.
People should know when to go out, when to go about, and then as a lady, for girls to make, if you're walking in the night, just make sure you're not walking alone. Like me, if I'm coming back from somewhere and it's already late, I just try to walk with maybe one of the male in my school that is walking down the side I'm going to. That's it. There was a day they alerted us that we should not actually go to a specific place due to they were stealing things there, and I think they were carrying guns. And I've also heard around these school gates where they took things from people. So it's really bad. I just pray that they will take action towards it.
I've heard of cases whereby students, girls will come out in the night. They want to go for night class. Like, students that go for night class, they leave their houses around 7 p.m. Because if they leave anything later than that, like, it's going to be very bad. I've heard of cases whereby students will be coming home, returning from night class, they are stealing from them, they are killing them, they are beating them up. Like, I just feel it's something we should take seriously.
It's not only in Nigeria university, but in the streets, everybody is affecting everybody. So our prayer is that God will help us in this nation, so that Nigeria security will return back to normal, so that everybody can be secure. Even in the streets, once it's 8 o'clock, everybody enter his room. You will not even see more vehicle. Assuming now you are going somewhere, and by 9 o'clock, you can't see any vehicle to board here. The one thing is that maybe anybody that caught in that action is supposed to be
Welcome. This is Signature TV. It's a Wednesday broadcast. Hope you're good out there. So we're beginning the headlines on our dailies this morning from the Tribune newspaper. So we'll just take it one at a time. We, by the way, have our reviewer already in the studio. Mr. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you, Charles. Today is a different day. We're going to do it differently. That's interesting. So,
on the Tribune this morning, appeal courts upholds judgments nullifying Shaibu's impeachment as Edo deputy governor.
NLC's 54 affiliate unions threaten mass action if, with the rider says invitation politically motivated. NLC's counsel writes IGP says Nigeria will appear next week. And stop this intimidation, judicial harassment, ITC tells federal government.
Probably. We'll start with that.
Of course.
Well, yesterday we just said, let it not just be what we are thinking that the security agencies of Nigeria are doing, that they should handle this particular case very differently and transparently. Let's not just model things up, so that they prove a point that they are not intimidating labor for any reason, and they're not. And when you say the NLC, there are certain level of organizations in Nigeria, as a government, you should be careful when you're dealing with them. The NLC probably have threatened that if their president is the man that their public relations or their spokesperson went on air in a viral video and said, if the president appears to answer questions that they've invited to come and answer, and then the police did not handle it very well, that NLC will go on indefinite strike. And it's not like they say they are not, it's not a threat. They're just going to do that. And now when you look at what is involved, you know, there's cause for critical balancing act to make sure we deal with this situation transparently and show the world that nobody is being intimidated. There is no harassment or there is no hanky-panky. It's a very delicate situation. But let's, you know, like my people say, when you speak for the fly, speak for the person who is carrying the wound, because the wound is following the fly for just a reason.
But why is it threatening with the NLC organization, the entire workforce of Nigeria, that they are going to go on strike? If he is called for interrogation, he should go and find out what the problem is. So, but my problem is, why is it threatening that the entire workforce of Nigeria will go on strike just because he's been invited to come and answer some questions?
They gave a reason. It wasn't even him. It's the spokesperson that they said they sat in council, not him. He is only one individual who is the president of. No, and then NLC has a council of executives.
He can say, look, these things can be settled. Let me go and answer this.
Fine.
Query.
And they said, we are going to come as law-abiding, use the word, say as law-abiding individual of our president and law-abiding organization, NLC, who will answer the call by the police. But if the police, you know, handle it in an there's used one word, he said, outward, you know, that didn't go, that didn't go well with the president or the association. They will go on strike. That's also when you are as a human being, you show your power. The Nigerian establishment is showing their power to take responsibility, probe everybody they suspect, and the person you are probing is just the case of the man who is killing the snake, and the snake itself. They're all looking for life, so everybody will try to protect themselves the much they can, but we keep pleading with the Nigerian Security Agency. Let this not be that somebody is being threatened. Let it not be that somebody is being intimidated, so that we do not want to hit up the polity of Nigeria now. Let's begin to reduce some of the pressures we find, because when the two elephants are fighting, the trees and the grasses, even the environment will suffer. That's my give on that. So
Right. Still on the Tribune, Fubara denies plan to dump PDP. 5 years after trial, AGF office has no record of XCJN or Morgana's CCT case file. Lekki communities family give Lagos government 30-day ultimatum over land acquisition. Interesting headlines from the Tribune, just in case you are interested in the headlines out there.
Now, the Fubara has said is not in a hurry. Is not in a hurry to leave PDP. The proverbial chicken that doesn't forget the man who pruned the feathers for him during rainy season comes to play. This is a party that got you to where you are. And now, because of harassment from other sides, there's this threat that, to him. And the party on the other side that are threatening, that's claiming that it's going to go, have not shown any credibility that warranty and said, I find them better and I can get, there's no guarantee that he'll get the rest. He will only mess up his political career. It's better he fight this to the end and prove that he's a principled human being, that he stands with as a pure political man, because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. To tell you, he could not risk leaving PDP to this, and it is well advised. And let's look at it. So the wild rivers is still playing out.
It has a rider. It says Wike must go for PDP to survive. Clark tells Damagu in open letter. So I don't think the case is even about Fubara quitting PDP. You know, the entity called Wike in PDP.
Yes, it's even surprising that PDP, the People Democratic Party, the former ruling party of Nigeria, is still toiling with the fact whether now it's messing the profile up, that up till now, the all-powerful, Nyesom Wike, is still in the party. When it becomes clear, I know, that's why I said double standard has played out in all in our families, in our streets, in our local government, in parties in Nigeria, everywhere. Otherwise, I don't think anybody will do what the man is doing and still say he's a member of PDP. No. And he has boasted.
Yes.
He has boasted that nobody can. And then, it now brings to question, so is this the same PDP?
No, he boasted with facts. Because he didn't just boast because he wanted to boast. He said there's nobody in the PDP at this moment that has given to the PDP more than what he has given to PDP. Let me give you an example. Okay. He said in Rivers, PDP has a governor. He did that. PDP has 3 senators. He did that. In fact, the state, Rivers State, is PDP state, except for the presidential election, which, of course, we know how that played. That he said he had an issue with Atiku, imagine as being he has the bragging right, and said there's nobody in PDP as it stands that has given PDP
Charles,
what.
You have done this so much for PDP. Let's put it. You have done this, and it's the case of somebody who is harvesting his plantain with a double barrel gun. You build marvelous mansions, and you went and start nibbling at the foundation for the foundation to crumble, and you're still boasting. You built the house, we can see you did. Rivers is the ATM of all the political parties. The money machine. They have all proven it. We have seen. And you have done that for your party, and you have put the party in position. And you are now even the guy who is pulling at his chest with all the gadgets trying to pull the house you built down. And you still say nobody can. Well, my people say there's a way. How you find a way to talk to the king? If you look at him and you can't stand the confidence of the king, I say, go and carry a basket and put on your head and say, King, you are wrong, at least for once. If you are here, tell us you are here. If you are there, tell us. Don't stand at the middle as a Gadaba choose.
What has it done?
Go,
wrong?
no go. Stay, no stay.
What has it done wrong?
What hasn't it done wrong?
Loyalty. actually.
What has it not done wrong? Let me compare two politicians. Somebody
so that it would actually align in answering that. You know, saying that Wike has done this has actually given River State PDP. However, when your loyalty is in question, do you also still have the bragging right to talk about
you are just resting my case, and that's exactly where I'm going. He has no bragging right now, because from all that he played out, he's no more.
He's just
he's no more
as a minister in the current administration.
Beautiful.
It's so unfortunate that we still look at parties in this same sense. If somebody is good at what they do, we all know what we did in
Who
River
composed
State
the songs on Tinubu's mandate we stand? Who went viral on Tinubu's mandate? Who is a typical
he's an appointee of this current administration. Doesn't mean that because he's in the PDP he shouldn't serve in. He shouldn't, if he's invited to serve in certain. That's not
what we.
That's
what it is.
I don't think that what we're asking is whether
nobody said
he was appointed
if you are
before he was
an
appointed
member and the PDP appoints you as minister, that you should accept. It's a good way of devolution of power and inclusive governance system. Beautiful. But if the essence is to bring you in so that the rat in the bush will now invite the one, and the one at home, we have opportunity of inviting the rat in the bush to say there is fish in the basket above the fire. That is what we are saying. You don't know use a gift, you know, call it Greek gifts, that they give you a minister, and I use that minister to destroy your party that has, that you know the history of PDP, how they have built and all. And it's weakening everything they're doing now, is weakening with a strong man like Wike in PDP, that being weakened to the point that he stands and nothing moves and he brags. So what is he waiting for? Until he turns out one day and said, okay, I come back. He's not showing, and you appointed you as a minister, does not mean that you come all out taking decisions and policies that are at par with the party that gave you the platform. He was in PDP before he was given ministerial position. And that's what has appointed, because he's a strong political man, party man. That may be why the president said he'll be useful to us. Yes?
Christian, you see, Wike's matter is just like saying, I don't want us to continue on that, because we can go forever, you know, trying to analyze it.
What we've tried to
there
do,
is another point on page 3, and I think other headlines also may flag it. On page 3 of the same Nigerian Tribune, it says 5 years after trial, AGF office has no record of ex-CGN Onohe's CCT case file. How is that possible?
It's not. Are you surprised? It's the same issue of rats, snakes, monkeys, moving materials in Nigeria. And the case of Nigeria being a very religious country, that miracles happen every day. Miracles happen every day. Within 1 month, we have had issue of documents. The former Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has a case, got to a point, how many years now, and no single record that, oh, is it Onoge? It wasn't. I don't know how to pronounce that name. That he has anything. There's anything. There may even not be record that he was once the Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. From what things are happening, everybody, the man who has eaten the food has licked the plate. You cannot see the trademark of the people who manufacture the plate. So it's clean and clear until further notice. So this one has not been linked to any lizard, wild gecko, monkey, or snake. It's just that the Nigerian report to you. That's Nigeria happening to us. It happened, it keep happening, and all we see is sit down, talk about it. It has happened again. The former Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no record to show he has any case anywhere. And probably because the man is still going to court now, everything that will implicate the implicatables is vamoosed,
you know,
and is missing.
Please are meant to be investigative. Is this not one of the cases they're supposed to investigate rather than chase NLC?
Let's put it this way, because we put so much pressure on Nigerians when we carry so much problem and put on their head and want them to solve. As IGP of Nigeria, imagine yourself,
And they say, go on unravel. How documents of a strong arm of democracy, what that means. We are not saying anybody gave order for, but it's not surprising that the documentations are not there. We have had it with a case within the last 2 weeks. Which one that was missing again? And we sat here, we talked about it. There was one other case.